One bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs, and Celtics.
On Maxi step back three is good.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, in the end, the Red Sox really didn't do much at the Major League Baseball trade deadline after near misses with Arizona's Merrill Kelly, and at the last minute, Minnesota All-Star Joe Ryan. The Sox acquired L.A. Dodgers starting pitcher Dusty May in exchange for the recently acquired minor leaguer James Tibbs and Double-A outfielder Zach Earhart. Craig Breslow wouldn't say what May's role would be here.
We've won a bunch of games. We've been competitive. I think Dustin fits into that group. I don't know how much sense it makes to say exactly what he is. Ultimately, what he does over the next 2 months and beyond is going to define his time here in Boston.
May just lost to the Red Sox last weekend. He was 6-7 with the Dodgers with an ERA of close to 5. LA just sent May to the bullpen on Wednesday. On the field, the Red Sox had last night off. They play Houston at Fenway Park tonight. Across Major League Baseball, there were a lot of trades yesterday. Texas got Sox target Merrill Kelly. The Yankees got Pittsburgh closer David Bednar and Giants closer Camilo Doval. And San Diego was very busy getting Athletics closer Mason Miller. Houston made a trade with Minnesota to bring back Carlos Correa to play third base. Patriots held a walkthrough at training camp yesterday. They got Carlton Davis back out on the field. Also, they've activated wide receiver Mac Hollins from PUP. They were without starting center Garrett Bradbury again. Next up is the big season ticket holder practice inside Gillette Stadium late today. It begins at 5:30. Washington Commanders hold in wideout Terry McLaurin has now requested a trade. And the LA Chargers kicked off the NFL preseason with a 34-7 win over Detroit in the annual Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Trey Lance, 2 touchdown passes. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Get BF.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
They love the show. In fact, they said, Fred, you're the best.
and Hardy
Who's Taylor the originator?
on 98.5.
Hello. Hey there.
Aloha.
Bonjour.
How are we doing?
What? I'm an animal.
Can we use this for the radio? No, Nick, with your drinking at noon on Monday.
Well, I tell her the truth, I miss booty.
That problem is too large for the Sarge.
You know how I feel about clowns on morning shows?
And I'm just saying, hello.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back
25 glasses of soda.
having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
We can do it the easy way or the hard way. It's sexy.
It is sexy, and that is the Toucher and Hardy Show. Good morning, all you sexy people. Good morning on this August 1st.
I am what I am.
You are, and you're
I'm a warrior, too.
you're a gay guy that's in jail, and now you're married to a woman and is begging for booty.
Yes, my wife would see this.
I got to get off YouTube because it frustrates me so much when those prisoners say they're not gay and then they brag about like they're warriors and everything, and you're like, well, you're gay. Like, it's fine.
Ah.
I don't believe that you're in jail for 5 years and all of a sudden, like, you need to be having homosexual sex.
I believe that sexuality is a big spectrum, Fred.
I do too. And
it's a three-dimensional sphere and then sometimes you bounce around that thing like
I don't
a
disagree.
ping pong ball.
I don't disagree, but I don't think it's situational. I don't think it's based on situation. That kind of if sexuality is a big spectrum, then the whole idea of it being location specific seems like that would be counterintuitive. That I'm only gay in these parameters would be denying your true feelings because you would be bouncing around the spectrum of love. Like, then why aren't all science fiction fans having gay sex? If not having sex for 5 years, the inability to have sex for 5 years somehow requires that you have homosexual sex, not having heterosexual sex for 5 years, that you then have gay sex. I mean, there's plenty of people that don't have sex for 5 years.
Well, who's to say they're not? And that's number one. And number two,
well, the Lord, the circumstance, the truth.
No, with your sci-fi fans, because they're only hanging out with other dudes. Is that what you're saying?
No, they can't get laid.
Well, sure they can.
There's a huge cross section of science fiction fans that don't have sex. Absolutely.
I don't know that to be true. Maybe they're going home and having sex, and then they go to their the con, whatever it's called.
What was the sci-fi
Someone pull
version of
up.
con?
Someone pull up a Reddit sci-fi board, and then we can see. We can actually track people's posts.
Actually, con and sci-fi is Khan.
Johnny with a little Star Trek Wrath of Khan humor. Very good though. There you have it. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get involved with the show. You can watch us live and all of those things. So yesterday, they canceled my son's baseball game. There was nothing to do. He's very into collecting cards. I had watched this video of this guy opening cards, and he got this Yama card. So I was like, okay. I said to my son, do you want to go to the card shop? He said yes. And usually we go and we don't think so much. But this time I thought. And I get Panini Contenders. And I'm like, what am I doing? This thing's $275. And Milo got something that was like $150. I said, this is ridiculous. How cards are so expensive. This is so dumb. And then I get home and I'm like, do you want to open these? Like some of mine. And he's like, no, you open them. So I opened the first pack. And the two guys that signed for this in the car, my son knows all about this stuff. So he's like, the only two guys that signed for Panini from that draft class that are quarterbacks are Penix and J.J. McCarthy. And I went, okay. And, J.J. McCarthy announced his starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Connell, this is a very good situation. So I said, I guess McCarthy would be the better one to get. And he goes, yeah. So we're opening the cards, and I go, oh, look, a J.J. McCarthy signed card. And my son starts freaking out, and I'm like, okay, whatever. He puts it in his sleeve. He puts it in another sleeve. And he's like, man, he goes, it's out of 23. He goes, this is insane. And I'm like, yeah, it's insane. So I go upstairs, and I put it upstairs. Later that day, he's like, I want to go to the sauna, and I want to see Dad in the cold plunge. It makes me so proud to see you in the cold plunge.
Of course it does.
And I said, okay. Okay, boy.
Watch and learn.
The computer's down at the gym. I'll just get you in on a guest pass. And so we go to the gym, and we're in the sauna. He's brought his phone in the sauna. He's texting with a friend. And he goes, you know that card you have? I go, yeah. He goes, here are the last 3 sales of it. $10,000 to $15,000. That card you just pulled. Out of the 23, the 2 sales are between $10,000 and $15,000. One was $15,000, over $15,000, and one was well over $10,000. And I went, holy moly! And I put that thing on eBay, Fred T. Sales. Mm-hmm. Low price of $5,000 to start the bidding. Now, think about it. If JJ, so he only signed for Panini. There's only 23 of these cracked ice ones, and it's on card signed. So if he becomes like even a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, I mean, that card's $50,000, $100,000 card. Mm-hmm. You get it right now because, Freddie No Pockets he's just looking to make his money back here. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
So your preference is to sell the card before the fun starts in September.
I ain't buying to hold. I got no JJ McCarthy thing. I didn't go to Michigan. I supported the kid out of college. I told you that he would be a high first round pick. I was correct on all of that.
But
as I am a draft guru.
This is not an investment for you. This is
churn and burn.
A quick fire sale.
Churn and burn.
Yeah, it's not even like an anti JJ McCarthy thing. It's just odds statistically. Is he going to turn into a top 5 quarterback? No.
Well, yes.
Probably not.
Well, what are you doing? I have the card for sale, you stupid idiot. What are you?
Well, you're going to get that money for it anyway.
Who knows?
You will.
But, if to our audience, what are the chances that he's a top 5 quarterback?
My apologies. I forgot that the only market for this card are people listening at 6'10", on a Friday morning.
No, you can listen to the podcast
yeah.
at any time in the next week. So, but no, in all honesty, think about it. Because I did after I put it up for sale. Penix, he's in Atlanta. It's a crap show. Okay. But Caleb Williams, apparently, we'll talk to Bert Breer about it. Apparently, Caleb Williams doesn't look great. Drake May's on the Patriots. Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels, so that's done. That's that's his card. If that card in Jaden Daniels is worth God knows how much. But out of all the other guys, J.J. McCarthy's been named starter in that Kevin O'Connell offense that Sam Darnold won, 14 games in, 13 games in?
Yeah.
14 games in, I think, maybe. I think he did win 14 games. Were they 14-3 and the Lions were 15-2?
14. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll double check. But yeah.
So J.J. McCarthy, if you were going to speculate, if your job was like to speculate on cards, and there's a chance that card could be worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and you could get it for $10,000, I take that gamble if that's my business.
14-3.
Yeah. So if Sam Darnold can do that, and I like Sam Darnold, but J.J. McCarthy, if J.J. McCarthy wins 12 games, if they have a 2-game, they regressed by 2 games. Yeah. I mean, they lost their center to the Patriots. So if they regress by 2 games, still J.J. McCarthy is considered. Look at Bo Nix.
Yeah.
With a good coach. Bo Nix, who no one thought twice about, had more touchdown passes than Jaden Daniels. And I think he had more passing yards than Jaden Daniels. He made the playoffs. He beat the Jets. Anything's possible.
That's huge.
Yeah, he beat the Jets 10-9.
Yep. Bo Nix, 29 touchdown passes last year.
I think he had more than Jaden Daniels, and I think he had more passing yards than Jaden Daniels. So who knows?
So this is essentially, let's just go ahead and start spending it. This is found money, okay?
Well, you have to remember the amount of money I've spent on cards. If you count COVID, it's almost astronomical. It would be disgusting to say.
Okay,
but if you don't count COVID, the $15,000 recoups at least 3 years of cards. So what I've thought about it, Hardy, and so here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Is since my son was the inspiration, I'm if not a quality father.
Don't do this.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not gonna.
No.
Pump myself up.
I'm not saying don't act this. What you're about to say sounds selfless, and I'm saying now's the time to be selfish. But go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna just take $10,000. If say it sells for $15,000. This is if it sells for $15,000. I'm going to take $10,000 of it and say, okay, this is because of the cards that we've bought in the past. But I am going to save $5,000 of it for my son and I to speculate on the market. Chase it. You understand? Chase it.
Boo.
Chase that feeling again, baby.
Boo.
The feeling that I got nothing out of. When I saw the card, I didn't care. And then when I found out it was worth $10,000 to $15,000, I didn't care. And then that caused me pain because I said, why can't I feel pleasure? I said, why am I not excited about this? It's found money. If I got a lottery ticket for $15,000, I don't think I'd care either. Ooh. If I got a lottery ticket for $200,000, I don't think that I would get any pleasure out of it. It doesn't seem I have that ability to release the chemical required.
That's too bad. I would be very happy with both of those scenarios.
Now, I'm not sad, and this is a good thing. Like, I don't think about it negatively. Like, I go, this is a good thing. But I don't get, like, a intense feeling of pleasure. Only opiates can give me that. No.
Don't you want to, like, isn't there a trip you want to take? Isn't there, like, some, concrete physical material thing
there's nothing
that would bring you some pleasure?
I think there's nothing material that I want. There's nothing I don't care much for material objects. I don't keep things. I just the material stuff I'm not overly into. The card stuff I do because of Milo, but the material stuff I'm not so much into. A trip I guess, but I've spent so much money on cards. Just the 10 grand. If it goes for 15 grand, the 10 grand seems like, okay, this kind of makes my money back. Because Lord, I'm not counting COVID, but like post COVID, I might be surprised, but I highly doubt I've spent much over 10 grand post COVID on cards. I would hope I hadn't. Now I've gotten Milo a birthday gift that was like a $1,500 pack, but that was a birthday gift. And I don't run around like spending that much money. Like I did think when I spent the $400+ yesterday, Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? Why are cards? Because you go to the card shop and you don't think you're going to spend, $400. You think you're going to spend $100. Like you don't go $400. That's like that's two steak dinners.
I know you walk in there thinking you're like 9 years old, and you walk out of there thinking, "Oh man,
yeah, exactly.
What just happened?"
Exactly, like because it's not like going to Walmart. Because my son one time, we went to like a Walmart out of town, and he pulled a $700 that downtown or uptown, whatever the hell cards that they have now, these optics, this Lamar Jackson, and then he flipped it at a card show and probably got hustled, but whatever. But like, so who thinks? But this would make up for all of that. So the 10 grand, I feel comfortable just putting into the pile and just saying this kind of makes up for. I mean, that's quite a few child support payments. That's like 4.
Sure, but if you had $5,000 left over, the notion that you're just going to take this and speculate with it in the market, like, does that bring you joy? Is that fun?
What else would be fun though? Like that I couldn't.
You can't think of something fun to do
with $5,000.
Well, it's not like I need $5,000 to do something fun. Like I already have the $5,000, so like it's not. If I didn't have $5,000 and I had $5,000, and now all of a sudden this presents a new opportunity to me, then I guess, yeah. But it's not like I've ever gone, I want to do something if only I had $5,000.
No, but this is, as you said before, found money that you can, now it will get
all
you
right,
to
what
think,
would you do? I'll ask you guys, what would you do? If you had $5,000 that you could guilt-free spend, what would you do?
I'd go back to Hawaii.
All right, John, so on what?
On
a paddle boat?
No. I'd find that would be enough for the flight for the 4 of us, and then I extra more. In coach, if I flew coach, $5,000 for the 4 of us.
When do you want to go to Hawaii? I'll look. When do you want to go to Hawaii?
Why is this so funny to you?
Because I don't think you could get there for $5,000.
Or it would make a significant dent in the price.
All right, but then you would end up spending $10,000 on the accoutrements.
But I'd be $5,000 less than I would have spent before. I guess what I'm saying is, you asked me what I would do. Obviously, the flight to Hawaii and the price to get there is incredibly expensive, along with the lodgings. But at the same time, if I have $5,000 that will lessen that price, that's fine with me.
All right.
Okay, I'll give you 3 options. Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you a material, an experience, and an altruistic, if that's the proper
$2,500 for coach.
Okay.
Per ticket to Honolulu.
All right, so for 2 of us.
That didn't take long.
All right.
I don't know what planet you're on that you get in there for 4 people. Go in cargo.
Material, I would buy a watch.
Yeah, you're really into the watches now.
I like watches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5,000 though, you're not getting like a great watch.
No, but I could get, and look, I'm not buying any great watch that's brand new. I like to poke around the certified pre-owned stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I appreciate the craftsmanship.
You have mentioned flipping watches. You mentioned it yesterday on the show.
Yeah, like that might be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Like to invest in and like flip watches. But I'm not even going to flip it. I just just put that one in the rotation. That's material. Number 2, I should have done it when I had the chance, but I would go with $5,000, could fly to Las Vegas and play Shadow Creek, right? And just nothing else on that trip. I'm not going to do a bunch of gambling, not going to do a bunch of stuff. But for that, you can go there, stay in a nice room, spend $1,000 for the green fee or whatever it is now, play Shadow Creek. I should have done it when it was $500, but now it's over $1,000. Or I would take that one lump sum of $5,000 and this just popped into my head. and by the way, I'm not doing this, but it would be kind of fun in the moment to give it to my sister's kid who is now in grad school and like figuring out ways to pay for grad school.
Well, that's a
like,
nice thing.
Here you go.
Well, there you go.
But I'm not doing that, just so you know.
I know.
I'm either doing the watch or I'm doing the Vegas trip. But those are three things you could do.
But yes, but you could do them now. You could spend $5,000 on a watch or go to Vegas for $5,000.
Yeah.
Now you could do it. It might like gnaw at you a little bit, but it's not like you would have to move things around to do that. I would imagine. I mean, your wife has a good job. You have a good job. I would imagine that
But it's
wouldn't
also
overextend yourself.
No,
but
no.
mentally,
But
I
those
understand
things,
what you're saying.
Yeah, like luxuries, like things that you
Right.
wouldn't, like, the perfect type of gift, something you wouldn't buy for yourself. That's way too extravagant, and I'm not going to do that. Oh, $5,000 just fell into my lap. I can do with it whatever I want.
Yeah, I guess if I sold it like this week, I would, because I don't have any vacation time left when you factor in the Labor Day week and the 3 days I'm taking off, 4 days I'm taking off, or 3 days I'm taking off at Labor Day, and then Christmas. I don't have any more time left. So I guess maybe I would, like next weekend, get like a place and get a hotel in Newport for a couple nights. Maybe that's what I would have done. I can't do it any other weekend. But if I would have, like, say I would have got on the card last week, maybe you're right.
There you
That's
go.
what I
You
would have
like
done.
Newport?
I do. Maybe that I would have gone, okay, I can go to Newport. Like, I could stay in that hotel that's like $1,000 a night, and I wouldn't feel guilty about 2 nights at that hotel.
Nice.
There's no way I'm spending $3,000 in Newport.
Nice.
So maybe that's what I would do.
I like
so there
that.
you go.
I like that.
And because that's not something I'm going to do. So maybe that, because I'd feel bad about spending the money. So like maybe
I want you to do that more than I want you to put it into a frickin' E-Trade account.
No. Not
messing
speculate the market. Speculate the card market.
Yeah.
Like invest it back into cards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't speculate the stock market. I'm
No.
not using
I understood that part.
Yeah,
of it.
I'm not. No, I got a guy. I'm not. No, I'm not looking to make quick money in the stock market. I'm not a fool. I don't know how to do that. I got a guy that manages my money. I don't poke around there. I don't know any better. What am I going to read CNBC and go? They go buy. So like I go, ooh. No one else knows
That must be the thing to do.
Exactly. No one else is getting. I'll watch Jim Cramer and follow his antics. Like when Fannie Mae was going on and he predicted nothing was going to happen. And then the crash of 2008 happened. And yet he's still on TV. Did you see he dropped the F-bomb the other day? And it's not so much that he said the F word, because you can on CNBC. Like, you don't get fired. But his reaction after he said it is, do you want me to leave? I messed up. And it's just like, all right, dude. I mean,
It's cable. You can say whatever you
yeah,
want.
like, and they're all, and both the guys that he's on with are like, I should have actually had Ryan pull this audio. Maybe Ryan, I have something else I want you to pull too, but maybe we should pay. I should have thought about that. Maybe we should pull the Jim Cramer saying the F word audio. It's not hard to find, and yeah, he like it's not him saying the F word because who cares? Like nowadays, who even cares? I would debate whether it would even be a big deal if we said it on the air here. Like, people are going to pretend like there is some kind of sheltering people from language now. Okay. Like, swear words? I don't believe it. But, yeah, it was his reaction to it was pretty funny. He starts, like, flipping out. His reaction's way worse than saying the F word. It could have just gone by. All right. We will be back. The Red Sox have angered their fan base, which I don't know what the fan base thought they were going to do, because they already... Their logic was flawed from the very beginning.
Thinking that they would actually do something.
Yeah, or the the ability to do something offensively. Just there was no market for that.
It's not just that.
I know, but the Devers trade was going to allow them to do something else, but there was no corner infield position of that. I mean, there was like 2 guys.
But there are other factors. Pitching, for example.
No, I understand.
We'll get into it.
But there wasn't a lot of starting pitching that left either. So that would make me more angry if I was a Red Sox fan, that there was never a market there to begin with. So the whole thing was a lie. Like, I said that right after the trade. What are you going to trade? Who are you going to trade for? The Twins weren't giving up Ryan. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, you can't...
They were in on a pitcher at about 515 from Arizona, Merrill Kelly. And you got outbid by a team whose farm system is far worse than yours.
I understand that, but I agree with you. They could have gotten Merrill Kelly, but the notion that they were going to vastly improve their starting pitching or their offense was never going to happen. And I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm putting them more on the hook. The whole trading Devers for nothing. I mean, you flipped Devers essentially for craphead from the Dodgers, from the Dodgers that they don't want.
No, they just beat him. He just got taken out of the rotation on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you flipped Devers because the kid they traded for Devers was the big piece in the Devers trade. So they flipped Devers for Daisy May.
That is the thing. I don't get the anger. It's like getting mad at your dog for crapping in the crate when it always craps in the crate.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Well,
what do you think?
The notion that they were going to improve their starting pitching or their offense at the trade deadline was never going to happen.
Understood, and you guys are right about that, but the excuses
No,
afterwards...
I'm not letting them off the hook, John.
No,
I'm saying it's worse than just not doing anything.
We'll
the whole notion was never going to happen.
Right.
All right.
Breslow's word
And
salad
he knew
was
the
fun.
market, and he
Yeah.
knew the
Oh, yeah.
market, too, before he made that trade. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life. With Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I had pulled this card that I could get $10,000 to $15,000 for, and Hardy was asking what you spend the money on. Pabs, go ahead.
Freddie, when you get free money, you know what to spend it on. Hookers and cocaine, baby. Hookers and cocaine.
Yes, indeed. I do that anyway, though. I have money budgeted for that. Artie, go ahead.
You need to spend all the money on more cards. These guys don't get it. You need to keep chasing that high. Keep going. Keep spending more money. And you're an Instagram influencer. Put it on there. These guys are dumb.
I'll tell you what, is I am an influencer, and there is a market for ripping cards, but I think that might hurt me with the ladies who expect a certain kind of sex appeal.
That's right. I'm dumb. You should chase, because chasing something is always synonymous with wisdom. Yes, by all means, chase that thing.
And as you know, I told you I received no high from getting that card. And even when I found out what it was worth, I got no visible, no real dopamine release or anything.
All the more reason not to buy more cards.
I do enjoy buying them. It's when I pull
it is like cocaine.
Yes, yes.
The best part is
buying it. I do enjoy the buying part. I don't feel anything when I get something good, because then it just seems like a job. Now I gotta go sell this, because generally they're not worth this much money. I had no idea that it was worth this much money, and by the time I found it out, I was in a sauna and I was like, okay, but. If I known, if I would have pulled it and gone, oh, wow, this is $15,000 in my hand, I would have gotten way more excited. But I've never experienced anything like that. I had no idea. And now it makes sense, but it didn't make sense at the time. I didn't know enough. I hadn't familiarized myself enough with the product. But now it makes sense.
I can't believe you took that card into a sauna. You're going to ruin it.
I didn't have the card on me. I had left the card in a 3-lock box.
Of course you did.
Sammy.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Red Sox and not what they did yesterday, but what they didn't do. And Ken Rosenthal and company, boy, did they have something to say about it.
They did nothing. This is a massive disappointment for the Red Sox and their fan base.
Epic fail. Comes off an epic fail last year's deadline with Craig Breslow, and this was an epic fail as well. Now, again, they met the same problem that the Cubs ran into. Joe Ryan is another starting pitcher who wasn't traded, but my understanding is any talks that they had with the Twins were feeble at best. They didn't come at them hard. The Red Sox are one of many teams that uses modeling and tries to figure out what the best values are, and it's all about efficiency and getting the best deal and this and that and the other thing. At some point, you've got to fire. It's the same thing we're saying with the Cubs. And they did not even address first base, which I know they've gotten decent work out of Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro, but my goodness, that was a position where they had to act. They tried for Suarez, Eugenio Suarez, and they tried with the idea of playing him at first base, didn't get him. Didn't get a starter other than Dustin May, who has not been a very successful starter for the Dodgers. And in their bullpen with Steven Matz, he's a swing guy. He can be effective, but my goodness, they needed more. This is a team that is on the rise. And again, they may say, we're going to be better next year. Our young guys will be that much better. Yeah, that's what the Orioles were saying a year ago. There is no guarantee in this sport or any other. So the Red Sox, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And there's going to be some people in Boston, a lot of people in Boston, questioning what the heck they did.
Right.
Yeah, that's all of that's right.
Yes, but again, the thing about this that I think is the most offensive to Red Sox fans is when they traded Devers for basically this May fellow, Dustin May, who is not going to be in your rotation and is not going. He's not a starting pitcher for you. There's no way that Dustin May is going to start in the playoffs for you. There's zero chance that he's one of the 3 guys that are going to start in the playoffs.
No, he's your
for you.
5th starter.
Yes.
They have an empty spot, It's very easy to say, we'll slot this guy in.
So he might pitch 2 or 3 times this year. Seriously.
Well,
I mean,
maybe a few
so
more.
no one's coming back. He's going to pitch the rest of the season. They don't have anyone coming back. They're that desperate for a fifth starter that a guy that was just benched is going to.
Well, Houck's out for the season. I'm trying to think of who
There's
it is.
no one in the system that they could move into that role. I'm not challenging you.
No,
but things are way worse than I thought. If Dustin May is going to start for you,
their top pitching prospect is at Double-A, so there might be a starter in Worcester that could come in and spot start. Sure, that I'm not thinking of. I don't have encyclopedic knowledge, but no, I think Dustin May is your fifth starter.
Okay, because you might be right. This is hedging it. This is according to ESPN. May is headed into free agency, so he's a rental.
Yeah.
So this doesn't even fit the idea of let's get him this season and maybe he'll be better next year as he's further removed from surgery. He can join the rotation in place of Richard Fitz or even Walker Buehler, or maybe he goes to the bullpen where his fastball might play up a little better.
Yeah, Fitz. They just sent Fitz to AAA to open up a spot in the rotation.
Okay. So there you go. So you got Dustin May instead of Richard Fitz.
Maybe you guys got this Dustin May thing all wrong. I mean, Craig Breslow seems to really like him.
Where our rotation has gone, we've followed, and when we've gotten really good starting pitching, we've won a bunch of games. We've been competitive. I think Dustin fits into that group. I don't know how much sense it makes to say exactly what he is. Ultimately, what he does over the next 2 months and beyond is going to define his time here in Boston.
Oh,
yeah.
So the way he performs in Boston will define his time in Boston.
It's just
this high-level baseball stuff, right? If you don't get it, then just shush.
That's the thing.
I think ultimately what we see in Dustin is, a guy who really limits hard contact, keeps the ball on the ground at a strong rate. I feel like that's something that will play well here at our park.
He's got a 5 ERA.
Really well. It's going to play really well, except his last start was at Fenway, and he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. It plays real well in this ballpark.
Which tracks with his ERA,
yeah.
which is around 5.
He's got an ERA of close to 5.
Right.
Couldn't make it past 5 innings.
It's in line with his ERA.
With a better team, he couldn't make it out of 5 innings at this ballpark.
It's not like that was a bad outing for him. That's what he does.
With a better team, with the team with the second most wins in Major League Baseball, he had the 5 ERA.
Really, it's incredible. I mean, that's the thing that upset me more than anything, listening to Breslow try and justify everything afterwards and saying he's saying words, Fred, but after a while you just zone out and say, please stop talking. So that's enough.
When they traded Devers, the logic that didn't make any sense at the time, which I thought was insulting to the fan base, was that now we have money to go do something at the deadline. So you have money to pick up 2 months of someone's contract. That didn't make any sense. And if you picked up a contract, chances are it's not Devers. It didn't make any sense. So what also didn't make any sense was that you were going to trade Devers and then somehow replace his bat. Nothing was available. There was 2 guys available, and I don't even care if you got Suarez, which you didn't do. It doesn't make up for it. And so there was basically 2 corner infielders that were traded at the deadline. And then, okay, we're going to go get starting pitching. What starting pitching?
There were 2 guys that they theoretically could have got. Kelly, apparently they were in on. The Texas Rangers have a bottom 10 farm system, and the Texas Rangers outbid you. You have a very good farm. You have a top 10 farm system, and you lost out to a team that has a bottom 10 farm system. It really is incredible. Now, you could say Texas gave Arizona 3 prospects that are ranked in the top 15 in their organization. You can say, what a massive overpay by Texas. Well, yeah, that's what it takes to go and get a starting pitcher that's going to help you. A starting pitcher that is going to start for you in a playoff game. And the other part of Ken Rosenthal's reporting was, he said, feeble. If you read what he wrote after the trade deadline, the Red Sox didn't want to part with Jarren Duran. They didn't offer Minnesota enough of their top prospects. And you have Breslow saying afterwards, we were willing to get uncomfortable. Well, no, you weren't. Uncomfortable means you paid beyond what you thought you had to. And they didn't do that.
Well, if you're talking about Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Ryan is a young pitcher with team control.
Through 2027. Yes, he should be worth a lot.
Right. So get uncomfortable. You're going to have to give up top prospects for him because he's an established young all-star major league starter.
He's 29 years old. He's under team control through 2027. Of course, Minnesota's not stupid. Of course they're going to ask for a lot.
Well, I would assume so because I'm giving you 3 years or 2 years and change, conceivably 3 postseasons.
Yes,
with a kid in his prime who's a solid, established number 1 starter. Yes, I'm going to want guys in return that I believe in the future could start for my baseball team.
Breslow said he was willing to get uncomfortable during this long-ass press conference. And it's clear, reading the people who know these things, that he didn't. That's the thing that upsets me more than anything else. The management of this team says one thing, but clearly is doing other things. That's what bothers me. They're not trying to win. If you're trying to win, you overspend to bring an impact guy in to help you compete with all the teams that are adding around you. Texas was the team that got Merrill Kelly. Texas already has 2 really good starters in DeGrom and Eovaldi. Kelly's going to be their 3rd starter. If you face that team in a short playoff series, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, if you face any of these teams in a short playoff series, you're in a lot of trouble. If
Not
you make
if you're
the
the
playoffs.
Red Sox. Not if
No.
you're the Red
If
Sox.
you're the Red Sox, you're in a lot of trouble
Yes.
against anyone you play. Because
Yes.
every team got better besides
Because
you.
Ryan, if you had overspent, if you had really gone bananas and gotten Ryan, it would have been great. If you had gotten Kelly, he would have been a nice number 2 for you, a low-end 2, but necessarily a 2 for you. And Brian Bale has found himself this year. You could have talked yourself into, okay, now we're ready to go. They didn't make any moves. They kind of just, put their toe in a little bit, got scared, and ran away from the pool.
Yeah,
and this is the same thing that's happened year after year after year. And to hear them justify it is angering.
And if
you're a
you
Red
think
Sox
this
fan.
is a Boston thing, I mean, the Detroit media is going crazy on the Tigers, and I think they got 4 or 5 pitchers. So what are you going to do? I mean, the Red Sox just don't care about winning. That is obvious.
And one other thing, if you can't get a starting pitcher, which was clear, you pivot and get bullpen help. You
Right.
show the fan base that at least you're trying. Okay, we didn't get the starter. How many closers flew off the board yesterday?
Yeah, I know.
You overspend, you get a bullpen
You don't
piece
have
to
even
help out
overspend.
Aroldis Chapman.
You wouldn't have to give up a top 10 prospect to get it to get
Easily.
bullpen help. Yes,
Easily you could have
easily.
gotten a good closer.
Only the Padres gave up anything of value for, and they gave up a lot
To get Mason Miller, yeah.
because that is an example of a team that is going all in this year because they're going to cut a bunch of salary, whatever. But you could have gotten all this bullpen help without really affecting your farm system. I mean, these would have been projects at the best. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Major League Baseball trade deadline came and went. The Red Sox made one deal. They got LA Dodgers pitcher Dusty May a rental in exchange for a pair of minor leaguers. Sox had tonight off. They'll play Houston at Fenway Park tomorrow evening. A lot of deals around the league yesterday. The Astros, who will be here tonight, brought back Carlos Correa from the Twins, and he's agreed to play third base. Patriots will hold their annual practice inside Gillette Stadium tonight. It starts at 5:30 this afternoon. Yesterday, a walkthrough at training camp. Starting cornerback Carlton Davis was present along with wide receiver Mac Hollins, who was activated off PUP. Sports Hub headlines are presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Gabe, go ahead, sir.
Oh, hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call so quick. Just real quick, I agree, Fred. We were sold, the Sox fans were sold a big goods. A week ago from Wednesday, Jeff Passan said that he didn't see anything happen with Joe Ryan due to the fact that Red Sox didn't want to give up Duran and didn't want to give up some top prospects. That Joe Ryan deal was never going to happen. Maybe if we took on Carlos Correa's money, maybe that would be a different story.
Yeah.
I was okay up until yesterday afternoon because there was no one really moving, and then you had like a Harrison Bader and Cedric Mullins, just some bats that I know, position-wise.
But Bader and Mullins aren't going to play for you, but they're not going to DH. But the deal is this, is that I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I think I heard Maserati say it, that there was speculation that the Red Sox wanted the Twins, if they got Ryan, to take Walker Buehler as part of it, which is just an ask that was never going to happen.
If you're Minnesota, why would you do that?
Well, the idea being that they're going to give you more if you take the salary of Buehler, but I understand what you're saying. Why you wouldn't do that? That's just, you wouldn't take on.
Not a chance.
They look at the Ryan sent this to us. Look at the Twins Instagram account. Like, it's almost an unfathomable. It's like the Brady Bunch times 2.
Yeah, they traded like 8 or 9 guys.
I think they traded 9 guys.
Yeah.
So like they're not gonna. The Twins were not going to go, we're going to trade 9 guys and then take on Walker Buehler's salary. Hey, fan base, guess what?
Yeah.
We just dumped everyone. I mean, like, the Twins don't have a team for next year.
We don't want Jarren Duran. We only want a few of your lower-level prospects. That's what we'll take for Joe Ryan, and we'll take Walker Buehler off your hands. What universe are if that is indeed true, what universe are the Red Sox operating in?
Well, it's like I talked to the GM of the Twins and we couldn't come to a deal, but it's like, all right, well, I mean, there's 30 guys, there's 29 other guys that could talk to him.
But the reporting was in the last 15 minutes up to the deadline, the Red Sox are really making a push, and this was more than one national writer saying this. The Red Sox are really making a push at the last minute to land Joe Ryan. And then we find out afterwards a push means no Jarren Duran and not even close to the amount of prospects Minnesota wanted.
If I was Minnesota, I wouldn't even want Duran. If I was Minnesota, I'd want, for Joe Ryan, I'd want 2 of your top 5 prospects. You don't have to give me your number 1 prospect, but I want 2 of your top 5 prospects.
And that would involve the Red Sox getting uncomfortable, which Craig Breslow kept insisting that they did.
We're happy with the guys that we brought in with Steven and Dustin, but we also pursued real impact players that we felt like could improve our team in 25 and beyond. Like I said, we were kind of uncomfortably aggressive in trying to pursue them.
Just real quick, I just like how he says real impact players. like we looked at some guys that are good, but and Matz is fine. I don't know why he's essentially crapping on Matz. But Matz is like a bullpen piece that was traded yesterday. He's not terrible. But he didn't give up anything for him. But the thing is that
it doesn't change anything.
But I do think it's funny that we did look at some impact guys, but not these 2 jabronis. But it's good that he's not pretending that May is going to somehow affect this playoff push.
The other thing about Breslow is that he kept saying things didn't line up. Things didn't line up. We tried. Things didn't line up. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Like I said, it wasn't about, an unwillingness to talk about our full system. And I think in a lot of ways, some of the deals that we've made, talking about the Crochet deal as an example, and a willingness to give up some of our best young players to improve our major league team, that was instructive in terms of how we approached this deadline. Ultimately, we didn't line up with other teams in those pursuits.
Okay, but let me just say something real quick. If, say you were interested in Joe Ryan at all, the reason you pay more for him now isn't rocket science. I would imagine a computer would say this too. The reason that he's costs more now than in the offseason, if he does, is the idea that he pitches for the rest of this season and you win. that if the strategy is, well, these guys will be available in the offseason, we'll have more time to negotiate, and there won't be this pressure. Because we talked to the guy from the Globe yesterday, and he was saying, like, they might not get rid of Duran because, it's like a chaotic period and things happen. But the thing is, when you're the one acquiring the player, this is the time to get the player, because Joe Ryan would be your second starter for the rest of the season, and then you're already in the playoffs. You'd probably stay in the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, in a 3-game series, you have Crochet and Ryan going, and no one's going to have a better 1-2. No one you play is going to have who in the playoffs has a better 1-2?
Texas has a very good 1-2.
Okay, but it's a conversation, correct?
What? Texas, Seattle. The Red Sox are right there.
Right.
But there are teams on par with that.
Like, I don't.
Yes.
No one's going to blow you away.
Correct.
No one's going to go, we're much better than Crochet and Ryan.
Right.
Two starters that were in the All-Star game. Like, there's not too many teams that are going to be able to beat that.
Yeah, there are teams on par with that, but no one better.
And by the way, Seattle's not guaranteed to make the playoffs. So.
None of these teams are, but that's what was so important, because Texas and Seattle both loaded up.
Yeah.
And you didn't. But getting back to Breslow, who's talking about not lining up, you know what? You know what good GMs do? They make it line up. If you're desperate enough and you're trying to win, you figure out a way to make it line up.
And by the way, you just made a good point. If you get Ryan, Seattle and Texas probably aren't making the playoffs. Or one of them's not. One of them's not making the playoffs.
One of them is not. That's
so
correct.
Two teams that pushed, even if you read the market, that's even more of a reason to do it. Because if you read the market and the two teams, well, Seattle improved more than any Padres in Seattle. But Seattle went all in. And Seattle's behind you right now. So just to counter that and to keep them out of the playoffs, that's why you go after Ryan. Really, that's the piece that would have been game-changing.
Yankees didn't improve their rotation at all. They got really much better in the bullpen.
You know why the Yankees didn't improve their rotation? Because unless you were trading for like a Ryan, and the Yankees, you heard the only guy they were giving up the number one prospect for was Skeens.
Yeah.
The Yankees were being they very much like the top of their farm system. But, yeah, they went crazy with the bullpen. And the Yankee fans are very happy.
I'm just trying to figure out in the middle of all of this is if Breslow is just incompetent, or it is, as everyone seems to be whispering, that ownership is tying his hands. I'm not sure which one it is. Neither of it is good. None of it is good. But I don't know if Breslow is this incompetent or not. I can't figure it out. Red Sox fans deserve better than this.
Yeah.
They've really followed this team. People keep coming to the ballpark regardless of how much they get stepped on. It's really amazing.
Well, they're away fans.
Yeah,
they're Dodger
There are
fans.
a lot of them that are. But Red Sox management.
If his hands are tied and he's completely frustrated with the inability to do what he really wants, he's one hell of an actor, because he seems to be towing the company line with some earnestness. Like, not to say that he believes it, but he believes in getting that message out there, because
Sam Kennedy Sam Kennedy does the exact same thing.
They miss
every
Lucchino.
interview. They really miss Lucchino.
Who
now.
would have thought you would have missed Lucchino?
Uncle
this
Larry
much?
was a great blocker for everyone. He was an a-hole and didn't care. He was fantastic at it.
And I think he pushed them a little bit. I think he pushed ownership a little bit.
I would agree.
I mean, I think that might be a fact. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
On Wi-Fi, you'll rage less, buffer less, and live more.
Sox open up a 3-game weekend series with Houston.
No, and I was about to say the old thing. I was so engrossed in something that was on the television. I almost said we were brought to you by a certain betting company that I would not normally do. But I got the name of the show right, so what are you going to do?
There you go.
I mean, that's a muscle now. I don't even think anything else now. That's a muscle. But I still, because for 2 years I said the name of that company. Bert Breer is the senior NFL reporter and lead content strategist for the MMQB. He's on Zoom, so you can watch him on YouTube if you subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Hi, Bert.
Hey, guys, what's up? Try to give you a good shot here. I know you don't look at it, Fred, but
you're in a delay, so I don't look at it.
I'll take a look at it.
I think it's like a B- shot. Like, the problem with this hotel room is, have you guys been in those hotel rooms where you can't just turn the light on and off? You know what? You can't go over and just, there's like master switches everywhere, and it's just the most obnoxious thing in the world. I just want to turn the light on and off, and I can't do it. And you hit the master switch, and 3 lights come on, and 2 lights go off, and yeah. So I did my best.
That's
here.
nice. You got the MGM sign there in the background.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So wanted to give you guys, I mean, this is the 4 a.m. shot, you know, and every
like
year.
Rain Man. You're in the Rain Man suite.
It's not the Rain Man suite. It's definitely not the Rain Man suite.
Did you put a 20 in between your credit card and your driver's license?
No, I just gave him my Marriott number because I have like 2,300 lifetime nights. So
you never miss an opportunity, Fred.
$20 sandwiches.
You never miss a chance. No,
they're so blown away with the $20. They just upgrade you to a $5,000 room. All right, because they know you got money to gamble when you show them 20.
Yeah.
Because at 20,
high roller.
I mean, how many guys in Vegas get a 2-0 slid into their breast pocket? All right, so Bert, you were in the Midwest, and you did a whole tour. How many teams? How many miles? How did you get there? What did you do?
Yeah, so I flew to Detroit because they opened because they played the Hall of Fame game, so they started camp earlier than everybody else. So I always try to start one of the teams that are in that game because they can be that you can get to them earlier than anyone else. And then flew to Minneapolis from there, and then drove from Minneapolis to Green Bay to Chicago to Indy to Cincinnati to Cleveland to Buffalo, which sounds like a lot, but those cities, I mean, on average, are probably about 3 hours apart. Some a little more, some a little less. And then flew from Rochester, New York, which is where the Bills are, to Seattle. Was with the Seahawks and the Niners yesterday, and I'm with the Raiders today. So this will be 11 for me.
All right. So I've been watching your reports, and I think they're very good. And one thing that I found was very interesting was your take of the Chicago Bears camp. Of course, they have Ben Johnson, who is everyone's automatically lauded and look out. This is going to be the best offense in football. They've improved their offensive line. And Caleb Williams, he's such a talent. What did you see in Chicago's camp?
Yeah, Caleb Williams didn't look very good the day I was there, and I think it's been a little bit of a theme, through the spring and into the early part of the summer for them. And it's interesting because I think part of it is Ben Johnson doesn't give a damn what people think, and that to me is fascinating because that's probably one of I'd say really the three most difficult football markets. Like the markets that are toughest on the football team are Philly, Chicago, and Cleveland. I think those three, because the football team is clearly number one in those spots. And in Chicago and Cleveland in particular, because of like the weight of the past failures of the team, there's like an extra layer of pressure on everybody. And so, somebody like Ben Johnson comes in and I feel like he has to wear the failures of Matt Eberflus and Matt Nagy and all the guys, John Fox, the guys who've been there and failed before him. But what I kind of respect about it is like, it doesn't seem like they're concerned about that. Like they know there are certain things that aren't going to look good, but they're going to be tough on their players. They're going to make it hard on their players. And so what they're doing with Caleb is they're throwing everything at him. They're trying to make him drink from a fire hose. They're seeing what he can handle. And then over the course of the next month, they're going to start to narrow it down to what he does well. But the day I was there, it didn't look great, to the point where, I think pretty clearly the two quarterbacks behind him looked better operating the offense.
Okay, can I ask you, because I saw you say this in that video, and I found this very interesting, the strategy and the logic of let's throw a ton of stuff at someone and then gradually take it away, other than it would seem that in most learning, you start with a base of knowledge, and then you kind of pyramid it up from there.
Right.
That sounded interesting to me.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I think is like kind of it brings you some insight into the way we all digest this stuff is I think Ben would tell you there were points in Detroit a few years ago when it looked that way and no one was paying attention to it because the Lions were awful and, people weren't as wrapped up in the development of Jared Goff in that offense as they are with Caleb Williams. So I think there are people in Detroit, like, we all remember, obviously we all remember how pretty it's looked the last couple of years, right? Like, and how innovative it's looked and how advanced it's looked. But, I think Ben would tell you there were points early on in Detroit when people weren't paying attention. There wasn't this level of scrutiny on it where it did look this way. And it was rough at practice. And they were figuring out what they could do. And so, the logic is let's figure out what Caleb and the other 10 guys in the huddle, let's figure out what their capacity is for learning. Let's feed and feed and feed and feed and feed. Let's see what we can do. And then, by the time we get to, the end of August, we're going to make it so hard on them that the offense that we wind up running is going to seem easy and the games are going to seem easy.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
It worked in Detroit, right?
I guess. Yeah, with a veteran quarterback.
And that's the question. That's the question. Will it work with? Because we saw that, and I think that's the other element of it. Like, I've seen like it fail before when a guy came from having a veteran quarterback to having a young quarterback and threw too much at him. I think the best example of that might be the Jets with Adam Gase, right? Where he went from having Peyton Manning and then he had Jay Cutler in Chicago. And when he got to Miami, Ryan Tannehill was already a veteran. And he tried to run a complex offense with Sam Darnold, and it just didn't work. I don't think Ben's going to do that. Ben did learn under Adam Gase, so there is a tie there. I think Ben is going to do what Caleb does well. It's just, for him, it's a process of figuring out what that is. And we'll see what it looks like when we get to the beginning of September. But again, in like a place like Chicago where they're really tough on the team, they're really tough on their quarterbacks, again, because of the failures of, guys like Eberflus and Nagy and Fox and Mark Trestman. And, you can go right on down the list. And the failure of the quarterbacks, too. This is, for Caleb, he's coming on the heels of 2 failed first-round quarterbacks in Fields and Trubisky. It's just seeing the day-to-day digestion of that from, the Chicago public has been interesting.
And we talked about this last week. You don't have an issue with what Caleb Williams has said in terms of his goals and his wanting to be the first 4,000-yard passer and set that you don't think that's going to run contrary to what the rest of the team is trying to accomplish. It can actually work fine in tandem with that.
Yeah, I don't think Hardy that. I mean, I think all of these guys have individual goals, just as a baseline, right? Just to begin with, they all have individual, and I think to some degree this happens with all of them, and they don't verbalize it always. Like it even happened with Brady in New England, where I think Brady, part of what frustrated him at the end of his time in New England was the failure to put enough around him, which wound up affecting his individual performance. Like, do you guys remember, didn't he say something along the lines of we're the most miserable 8-0 team ever, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah.
Right? And part of that for Tom was Tom didn't feel like he was playing well enough. And he felt like that was a product of what was around him. His individual performance was bothering him. And I think anybody who's competitive, that doesn't stop at your team goals. You're competitive about your individual performance as well. So I think that I don't mind when a guy puts something into words that everyone is thinking anyway, or everybody has individual goals. And they may not want to, again, put those into words or make those public, but those exist for everybody. The other thing is, I mean, look, I think the 70% passer thing was directly from Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson said that publicly, right? And then the 4,000-yard passer thing is a nod to the history of the franchise and how they haven't been able to get a quarterback there, which is mind-blowing in 2025 that they've never had a 4,000-yard passer. But it's sort of the reality of it. So in a way, I think what Caleb's saying there is I want to be the person who changes perception of this position in Chicago. So I don't have a huge problem with it.
Are you in a like a hotel or like a casino hotel? Like you said, Marriott.
Casino. I'm in the Aria.
Oh, well, during the break, could you run downstairs and just do a quick hooker check, because this is prime prostitute sex worker time.
That was the benefit to me. That was the benefit of
being there at this time.
The fact that you guys woke me, the fact that I had to get up to do this at 4 a.m. local.
Yeah.
Like now, this actually helps me out because the Raiders practice super early because of the heat here, right? So they practice at, I think, 8 a.m. this morning.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go to get my run early. So during my run, my 5 a.m. run, right, well, after I'm done with you guys, I'm sure I'm going to see lots of things. I can text you guys some observations if you want.
It's actually getting a little late. I mean, this is, this 4 o'clock hour. This is the witching hour.
This is the one. I mean, you know better than anybody, Hardy. Not because you were soliciting them, but because you lived here. Maybe you were soliciting them too.
I think anybody who goes to Las Vegas from the East Coast, and if you find yourself like not going like crazy wild the first night, which I don't do, and you still are on like your sleep schedule, if you get up and you go downstairs for like a cup of coffee or see what's open to eat, like at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's not like at midnight, where all the girls are walking around chomping their gum and swinging their purse straps. It's 4 a.m. It's the desperation hour. Like nothing else has
buzzer
worked
beater.
Nothing else has worked out for me tonight. And that's when it's like, okay, now you've got all this to choose from. If you walk that casino floor right now, I guarantee you're going to see all kinds of stuff.
It's like 2 a.m. at the bar in Boston when the fellows are throwing up the Hail Marys, right?
It's that, and that is 4 a.m. casino floor Vegas. Yes.
All right.
You're missing out.
You really are missing out. You could be having sexual relations. Instead, you're talking to us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate the sacrifice.
I mean, there really is. There is a new reporter on Fox 25 that I cannot put my finger on who it is.
A new reporter?
Yes, they're out there with the some team that is going to the Little League World Series.
Braintree. Champions, yes.
But, Fox 25 is always on, but I've never seen this reporter before. During Bert's long-winded answers, I've been frantically searching the internet for information. There is none.
Butch Stern.
Who is this?
It's not, but it's a new female reporter for Fox 25. She's on the streets in the rain, And, Fox 25 is on every day. And
Are
so
you smitten?
I'm curious.
Okay.
Curious.
All right. He's a single man over here. He's
No, I didn't
Fred, what's
nothing
the
to
age?
do with my.
Fred, what's the age range here?
Not crazy. I mean, not inappropriate.
Not Jordan level.
No. I mean, please.
For John, the woman would have to be a newborn.
No, they'd be working in Kalamazoo. I mean, they can't get a job in Boston at Jordan's age, at 24 years old. I mean, you need to you can't just first job out of college ain't Fox 25. You got to have some reporting experience, but they could do well to get her up on the website. I can't figure out who she is. She ain't up on that website. That I can tell you.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Please, would you?
Yeah.
For the love of God. All right, Bert's with us for an hour. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. work with Hardy and Wallace.
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Show.
My first year, I was really kind of running around and doing some stuff I probably shouldn't have out there with pads on. So I think just taking care of my body and being smart, but also knowing when it's third down and when it's near the end zone. Like I'm 6'5" and 230 pounds. Go get something.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. Bert Breer is in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is 4:26 in the morning there. He's kind enough to do our show. Terry McLaurin from the Redskins, 29-year-old receiver. He's 29, right? Or is he 27?
29. He'll be 30 in a month.
Okay, he'll be 30 in a month. And I was surprised he was that old. And he is looking for a new contract. Now he wants to be traded. What are you getting, information are you getting from Washington?
They don't intend to trade him. I'd still be surprised if it happened. But if you've been around Terry McLaurin at all, and you know the type of person he is, the type of leader he is, how much he's invested in that franchise, it'd take a high level of frustration for him to get to a point where he requests a trade. And so you see he tried holding out, then he tried reporting. He's done what he can to try to create movement there. They went over a month without talking, the Commanders and McLaurin's camp. Then, near the start of training camp, they reconvened. There wasn't much movement. I think this is sort of more than anything about, a disagreement on value. And I don't think it's Dan Quinn pulling the strings on this one. I think it's more, and look, I think with new ownership there, analytics are more involved than they have been in the past, and contracts and how you pay certain guys at certain ages and everything else. And so it seems like a really bizarre one because they finally got it turned around, and this guy is so central to everything, and this guy endured so much, from the quarterbacking to the ownership situation to like even the change of the nickname and all that different stuff. He was really a bellwether through all of it. And now, he's going into a contract year and he can't get a market deal. What he's looking for, I think he's looking for something in the neighborhood of what DK Metcalf got, which was $33 million per in new money. And for one reason or another, the Commanders haven't been willing to go there, either on the total number or the guarantees. So, I think they eventually get something done, but obviously Terry's very, very frustrated with where things are.
Okay. What is the deal with the analytics? I mean, if they're not serving the team, there is using analytics as a boost, but just being married to them, they take entirely the human element out of it, which doesn't seem wise.
Well, do you guys,
why pay a GM if you're just going to use AI?
You guys know who, and Josh Harris has been a fantastic owner for the Commanders, but the other teams the other team that he owns, right?
No, I don't remember all the time. Okay, he owns the Sixers. And
the Sixers have done a lot of this, right? Like where the advanced analytics, everything else. I think it's just, it plays into the way you invest your money, and look, like I think that there's like some level of influence there on, are you willing to pay guys of a certain age, and again, this is me putting pieces together, but are you willing to pay guys of a certain age at a certain level? And what's the history of guys at certain positions at certain ages? Now, I said to you guys last week, like, I think Terry, because of his work ethic, because of like the demonstrated durability, and because of his like football IQ, this is a guy who's going to last, And so even if he's not, a 1,200, 1,300 yard receiver in 2 or 3 years, I still think he's going to be like a good player. Like I think he's going to be able to reinvent himself because he's not somebody who's overly reliant on his physical gifts. But there is some history of, and we've gone over it with Stephon Diggs, right? There is some history of guys at that position in their 30s and, how they can go the wrong way. I'd put this guy, again, more in the category of a Larry Fitzgerald who reinvented himself like 2 different times, and was able to remain effective like I mean, into his late 30s, but obviously there's a disagreement on value there.
All right, Bert, McLaurin isn't the only prominent hold-in across the league. I watched the Dallas situation, and I watched the situation in Cincinnati, and I have no idea what the teams are thinking. They know how good those players are. They know their value considering what Myles Garrett just got and T.J. Watt just got. I don't understand the thinking on either side.
Yeah, so the Micah Parsons thing is just weird. And, I think there was a deal to be done a year ago when the top of the market for edge rushers was still, I think at that point, Nick Bosa was still the highest paid, right, guy, and he was at 34. And now the highest paid guy is at 41. That's TJ Watt. Myles Garrett's at 40. And I think what happens with these teams, and this is probably happening with the receivers too, which relates to McLaurin, is you had these superstars that signed these big deals, and I think teams were kind of waiting for the market to prove that those deals were outliers. And then that wasn't the case. Like the Cowboys were waiting. The Cowboys went through this exact situation last year where they were waiting for something to show that the Justin Jefferson deal was an outlier at 35.
It's crazy.
And they wind up having to sign CeeDee Lamb at 34 in the end.
They waited on Dak Prescott, and it cost them $100 million too. What is Jerry's thinking? I don't understand any of this.
And I do think, like, if you listen to Steven, if you listen to Stephen Jones talk about it, there is a reality to, well, the player has to be willing to do it too. The thing is, I think with the problem the Cowboys have had is it's like if we're going to do the deal early, then we're going to want a discount, and the player will say no. I'm like, I want to do something fair, and then you get into the stare down, and then you wait and wait and wait, and inevitably, what's going to happen when you wait? When you wait like that, other deals are going to get done. And it's happened with the edge rushers. It happened. And it wasn't just at the top of the market, guys. It was, of course, you got Myles who got 40, and then you got TJ Watt who got 41. But then even like at a level below Micah, and this affects the Trey Hendrickson thing, you have Max Crosby now is in the mid-30s. You have Danielle Hunter in Houston is now in the mid-30s. So, like, you can't tell Micah Parsons that he's not worth like $40 million a year now. And even Trey Hendrickson, like, you might be able to tell Trey Hendrickson, yeah, you're not TJ Watt or Micah Parsons, but can you tell him you're not Max Crosby or Danielle Hunter when the guy's had 35 sacks the last 2 years? It's a really tough sell for a player.
Okay, so what is there a real salary cap problem? Like, if you're a team and you're Dallas and you want to keep Parsons and Lamb and Prescott, how much does that really tie your hands? How much is the cap really a factor in that, and how much is the owner just being cheap?
Well, it depends on how many players you have that are like that.
No, but it seems like there's a million ways to manipulate the cap. Like, it's not a hard cap like like hockey.
So there are what you have to commit to doing. There are two things you have to commit to doing, though, and I think we've seen this in a few different places. I'll give you guys a couple examples of it. But what if you're going over the cap, if you're spending cash over cap, it means two things. Number one, you have to have an owner who's willing to write those checks, right? Mm-hmm. You have to have an owner who's willing to spend above the salary cap, and that means, again, the Eagles have done this for years. That means money coming out of the owner's pocket. And that affects cash flow, with the football team. So you have to have that. And number two, you like every 4 or 5 years, whatever that number, you're probably going to have to go through a reset. So the Niners are going through that this year, where they're carrying, I think it's over 92. It's like 93 million in dead money. The Bills went through it last year. The Rams went through it the year before that.
It's funny though, because all those teams were successful.
And you know what it is, though, is you have to keep drafting well, right?
Right.
Like, so if you have this void on your roster, like Buffalo, if you have this void on your roster where there's $75 million on a $250 million salary cap that's ate up by players that are not on your team, that means you have to have cheap talent that's going to take those spots and make up for the money that's not allocated there, right? So for Buffalo got rid of all those guys, right? Like, so Steph Diggs, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, all these guys that were like core players of their build. Tremaine Edmonds left. So how do they make up for it? Well, Greg Rousseau, Khalil Shakir, Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, and now all those guys are on new deals, right? James Cook. You have to draft well. What do the Rams do? Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. And whether the Niners make it work this year or not is going to be on guys like Mikael Williams and Alfred Collins. Like, that's the trick, is you have to keep drafting well. That's what the Eagles have done, is you have to keep putting cheap young talent on your roster. So when you do have to reset it, you're not – that's how the Patriots got pinched, is like they were able to do that effectively for a while, and then eventually they didn't – the poor drafting caught up with them. So – that's really how you manipulate it. And yeah, the salary cap is real, but there are ways to mess with it.
So my point is, Jerry Jones could get these deals done much easier than he is.
100%.
Yeah. He's not hamstringing the franchise by keeping guys that they've drafted and developed.
No, I think it's a red hit. Now, that doesn't mean, like, when you pay your quarterback, you are probably going to have to win with a little bit less.
Sure.
Like Brock Purdy's in a different environment now than he has been the last couple of years, right? Because now going forward, they're not going to be able to be quite as aggressive in building around him as they have been.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where your quarterback has to really prove himself. Is like, okay, like now you're going to have to make up for the fact that maybe we don't have depth on the offensive line the way we did before, or our third receiver is our 5th round pick. You know what I mean? Like in his second year. So you have to make up for it. But no, I mean, these guys all have the cash. I mean, it's like a huge part of the equation is the cash part of it. It's can you keep winning in that environment that becomes the question. But it's if you're willing to spend the cash and you draft well enough, it's doable. Buffalo and the Rams have shown that the last couple of years, and I think the Niners will probably show it this year.
It's just interesting when a player is drafted and developed and becomes a star. It doesn't seem like there's anything that would be prohibitive for you keeping those guys. Like that, if you draft and develop, you're always going to be good. Is my point.
Right.
That there's
you're always going to have a baseline of young talent on your roster that is going to be able to make up for whatever dead cap you're carrying.
Right. Like, I understand you can't go crazy in free agency, but keeping your own guys always seems to be like an option. Like, that's not spending the money.
Going crazy in free agency, we've been over this before.
No, it's not. It's not a wise thing to do. But that's like, you can't do that. Like, we're up against the cap. I can't get this piece in free agency.
Right. Yeah.
But when it's keeping your own players, I always get a strange feling when the owners are like, well, we can't keep this. Well, you could. Like, you could keep him. You know,
the Niners and Bills are great examples of it. How many outside free agents are part of the Niners core or have been part of the Niners core over the last 7 or 8 years? How many guys?
I'm assuming not many.
I mean, like Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, like when they had Armstead and Buckner. Trent Williams came from the outside, but Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey came from the outside, Brock Purdy. Like, most of their core has been from the inside. I mean, Buffalo, almost their entire core has been guys that they drafted and developed. So, yeah, I mean, you should be able, like, that's the most tried and true way to win. Guys who are free agents, and I mean, if you guys have seen the list of free agents from just last year, right? Like, the guys who were free agents last year that signed the big deals, I mean, it's a graveyard of contracts, like I mean, I tried to say this to people in March when people were like, oh, you can, like, well, we can just go buy a team. It's like, no, you can't. Like, those players are all available for a reason.
All right. Well, look, we have more for you. We'll focus in on the Patriots, and we'll get all that going with Bert Breer in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. I knew I was on the microphone. I'm just saying that maybe we get rid of them. That it served its purpose, and I don't think that what it was intended for is even happening anymore. So I didn't write it or produce it, but maybe that goes. We're giving away a car, and we'll have our first qualifier for that. I'll announce in 3 minutes. I have it in front of me, but I was explaining to young Ryan, who's in for Adam producing this week, that he's probably never experienced this, but when you're giving away something of value, as we were giving away things to McGovern Ford in F-150, there is legal things that you have to be to the letter almost when you are making these announcements.
Ryan's very good at his job, and he's got all the requisite skills. He just lacks the experience of being in radio long enough to where he has actually given away something of value at some point.
So it got me thinking, and
this
I know
is a first for you, Ryan.
Let's not screw this up.
But I know that. What do you recall the biggest pain in the ass thing to give away? Because when I was in Atlanta, you would think it was. I'll tell you what it is after you tell me. But we gave away these once-in-a-lifetime experiences, like a trip to what's above the Earth's atmosphere, like whatever layer is between space and the Earth's atmosphere. We gave away a trip up there.
The something sphere.
Like, we gave away, like, ridiculous stuff. That's the oddest thing I can think of. But we gave away, when I was in Lansing, interning in Lansing, we went to a grocery store with a real trip to Vail, and no one at the grocery store signed up. The person that would have filled out the sheet would have gotten a trip to Vail, and I triple checked it. I'm like, this is really a trip to Vail? And they're like, yeah, we're doing it through this grocery store, and we don't have any entries. If anyone fills this out, they're going to Vail.
Well, there was one thing we gave away, and this will be of particular interest to Bert, because it was when your height in CDs and your weight in beer. And the thing that was the sticking point that somebody raised was the weight in beer. They didn't want the cans or the boxes or the packaging to be included in the weight. Yeah. So we had to go through the math and the weighing of like an empty can, and then multiply that by as many times.
Oh, that's on promotions. I mean, you got to have some.
Wait a minute.
You got to have some fine print that this cans and boxes count.
No,
I mean that's.
Somebody raised the issue that they didn't want the cans and the boxes counted in the weight, and they got like more beer out of it. Now it wasn't a big deal because the distributor was like, just give them an extra case of beer. We don't care.
Right.
So I assume when you buy like a 12-ounce can of beer, like that 12-ounce can, that includes the weight of the can.
I think 12 ounces is a measurement of
fluidity,
not of weight. All right, look, let me do this as I can. It is time. Sports Hub and McGovern Automotive Group. Want to put you in the driver's seat of a brand new.
No, an ounce is.
Shut up, Bert! Jesus Christ, shut up!
Ounces.
Pull him down! Pull him down! Pull him down! He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. He's such a fool. Get him off I don't even want to talk to him again. I swear to God, get him off the air entirely. I don't want to talk to him anymore. That's the dumbest thing he's ever done. He's slipping an entire amount.
Okay,
between his Nantucket nonsense and now this,
I think it's the delay. I don't think he purposely meant to interrupt you. There's a delay.
5 minutes ago, I talked about how you have to get this stuff to the letter. Is he that much of an idiot that he interrupts the read? My God. Jesus Christ, Bert. That's almost unfathomably dumb. A delay. What, a 10-minute delay? He thinks we're still in commercial?
I don't want Bert to go.
I want Bert to stay.
Well, there's going to be no time because I have to do this. This is a big giveaway. It is, and I want to get it right. 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Automotive Group want to put you in the driver's seat of a brand new Ford F-150. Now, here's how you qualify. You go to @98.5 The Sports Hub and @McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Tag a friend in the comments. You got to follow those two accounts. Tag a friend in the comments of the pinned contest post on @98.5 The Sports Hub on Instagram and include the hashtag contest. Then you listen to us every Friday at 7:50, 11:50, 3:50, and 6:50. And if your Instagram contest username is called out, you have 985 seconds to call the contest line It's 617-931-0985 to qualify for the truck. So may I now announce the first username that will be qualified to win this truck. The username on Instagram is at MPRICHARDS12. So your Instagram account is MPRICHARDS12. Okay? You now have 985 seconds. That's 16 minutes and 25 seconds. To call us back at 617-931-0985 to qualify to win a 2025 F-150 from McGovern Automotive Group in 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Well done.
Thank you.
Is Bert still there?
I hope I want to keep talking to Bert.
Well, it was up to Ryan.
Ryan?
It was Ryan who had to pull the trigger.
Is Bert still there, Ryan?
He is, yeah, he's still here.
Okay, good.
I apologize, Fred. That's my fault.
No kidding.
But an ounce is a measure of weight.
Very good, Bert. I'm glad you had to get that in. Because does that make you feel vindicated? Because that you had to interrupt everything to be right? You Googled if ounces was the
I didn't
measure of
Google
weight.
it, no. I thought of drugs, and so I...
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, it's a measure of weight. That's right. Yeah, 12 ounces of cocaine would be worth a lot of money, and that would be on a scale, and you would not include the baggie. But this speaks of people in sports media's need and insecurity. That needed to be stated right away. That was far more. That the exercise of interrupting what I had just said was so important to get right to the letter. That he had to get it out, that the weight thing was right.
That was intense.
Something that Hardy and I would have easily, Bert, conceded to you. There would have been no pushback. But that could have waited. And no one, in fact, if it was never addressed, maybe one email, hey, guys, there was a discrepancy on what ounces. That contest was 20 years ago. This contest is now. All right, very good. Well, Bert, I appreciate you getting up so early in the morning. There's no time for more football talk. But I do appreciate it very much. I'm just busting your balls about the contest thing.
Did you have anything to ask him about the Patriots?
It doesn't matter because we don't really have time. We don't, and we need to get to some of this Red Sox stuff. There's stuff that we need to do. So I do apologize for not getting to more football with Bert. But Bert, thank you for getting up. We do appreciate it. Go down and give us a horror report, and maybe we'll put that on. Go down and see.
Yeah, according to Hardy, I missed prime time, so I'll let you guys know what's left down there.
All right, appreciate it. All right, thanks, Bert. In all sincerity, thank you for coming on. Bert from the MMQB. Thank you to Bert. But that was quite a gaffe. And if it wasn't so on brand, it wouldn't annoy me so much. Like, I kind of knew that something like that would happen.
I knew you'd never let the Nantucket thing go. I knew that would come back and influence further judgment.
It does influence.
Couldn't leave it alone.
Of course it influences judgment. When someone pulls something like that Nantucket nonsense, of course your judgment of the person changes. What would change the judgment of someone if that didn't?
I just knew you wouldn't move on from it.
That sounds like a breezy summer read, maybe about some shenanigans that people get up to on the island. Nantucket nonsense. We could pen that thing in a weekend, Fred.
That's right. I'll tell you this, is that there you go. So we're giving away a car. That was something else. Bert is something else with the talking. Holy moly. I love Bert, and he's got a lot of good information. But he's got to watch that mouth of his running. Holy moly. I told you before we went on with him that I was going to that I told you something like that would happen. I did. He just, when there's things that need to be stated, like if there's a bombing or a plane crash and we're giving information, Bert needs to be potted down. Because there's no way, because he'll go like, at Ohio State one time. You'd be like, no. I was on a plane once. Okay, very good.
But this one, was it the one that just crashed?
Right, exactly.
Then we need you to shush.
I do this big thing with Ryan about how you have to have this contest read to the letter. And then Hardy tells the tale of this beer thing. And Bert is so hell-bent on being right about weight. That's strange, too. Like, why do you have to be right? Like, fine, you're right.
It was partially my fault for looping him in early.
Yeah,
just
I know.
Because it was is the commentary on how much beer he drinks.
Yes.
Right.
More than anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't have brought him in. That was an error on your part.
That's my fault.
Yeah, you should have foreseen that happening. Anytime you say Bert's name, there is that requisite talking over that needs to happen. Hachi Machi. Mine, if you're curious, my giveaway that was the biggest pain in the ass was The Cure. Despite the probably millions of dollars of prizes I've given away, The Cure did a show only for 99X listeners at a theater. And Cure fans, death threats, not kidding. Like, who are you to control these tickets? Who are you that we can't get these tickets? Only you can give away these tickets. What kind of fascist environment is this? You know, the band's in on it. We didn't, like, get with the venue and buy all the tickets and say, now we're giving them away. Like, the band is participating in this, you fools. And by the way, your rights as a U.S. citizen don't include getting to see The Cure if you want to. Like, that's not an inalienable right. Like, they don't have to go on sale. Robert Smith can do whatever he wants. You don't need to be able to go. Things happen in life. I would have this conversation. Play him on the air. You don't have a right to do this. Things can happen without your presence. You stupid, self-centered idiot.
And without your permission.
Because you like The Cure, you have to have access to tickets, stupid. This was like a month of my life. These morons calling me and yelling at me, threatening to kill me. Cure fans, too. You wouldn't think The Cure. Nasty. Nasty fans.
Mean people.
Mean. You get a death threat from enough people, start labeling those people as no-gooders. And that's where I put Cure fans. And I like The Cure all right, but I'll tell you, mean. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Touch Your
trade. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 985thesportshub.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go.
Boom.
I win.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub. What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the sport.
The national writer saying, there was a talk around the league of the exorbitant price of Devers' contract, and that they were lucky to unload him. That some people would say they would have to attach a prospect to Devers to get a team to take him. And then I said, no, I don't believe that for 10 seconds. I believe the San Francisco Giants wanted Rafael Devers, and they said we don't have to give up anything for him.
Yeah.
And then they went and made the move. That's what I believe. And they're acting like a big market team, and you're in the same size market as San Francisco, so there's no excuse for that. Yes, John.
This is where the Red Sox stand. They have been incredibly lucky to be in contention. You trade for Garrett Crochet, he's the ace you ever wanted. You wanted. You made that deal, you hit a home run. Brian Bayo has found himself. Lucas Giolito is pitching out of his mind after major surgery. They never thought they'd get this out of him. Aroldis Chapman was a flyer, and he stepped back 5 years in time and is a dominant closer. You're getting offense despite the fact that you took an aircraft carrier bat out of there and didn't replace it, and you have a bunch of spare parts that is far outperforming anything you could have dreamed of. This team is fundamentally flawed. They're terrible defensively. They run into outs. And yet here you are in playoff position, and you happen to be in playoff position in a year where there's no monster out there. You've given yourself a chance, and you come to the trade deadline and do nothing after promising your fans that you would be aggressive. And then you mealy-mouthed step to the microphone after it's all said and done, said, you know what, we were willing to get uncomfortable. It takes two teams to do this. It is utter incompetence by the front office to come back at fans with this nonsense after failing yet again. There's no other way to put this. They should be ashamed of themselves.
It does take two teams.
We pursued a number of really impact opportunities. Obviously, not all of them work out, but it wasn't from a lack of trying to be,
or none of them work out. Go ahead.
As aggressive as possible, from an unwillingness to get uncomfortable. But ultimately, it takes two teams lining up for those trades to line up.
Ultimately, you didn't try hard enough. Great GMs make things happen. Maybe the starting pitching market wasn't for you, but you should have added something. Bullpen help would have been good. Closers are flying off the board left and right the last 2 hours before the deadline. It wouldn't have taken much to get one of them. Yankees got two of them, and they're only a game ahead of you. All the teams around you improved. The ability or the want to win is not there.
This is maybe out of all the stuff that Breslow said yesterday, the one that really sat the worst with me was about the other teams. Okay.
We can't ignore what other teams are doing. At the same time, our focus today was identifying and pursuing the players that we felt like were good fits for our team. Ultimately, we're all going to be defined by what happens from tomorrow through our last game of the season and potentially the playoffs.
So essentially, the whole tone of it was, yeah, we can't ignore it, but we can't worry about what those other teams do either. This is and this isn't just baseball, but I think it mostly relates to baseball, where you operate in this vacuum. You build this team that can do this, and this. You're not scrimmaging yourself. You're not just playing against some nameless, faceless opponent. These games aren't played in a vacuum. So if other teams around you are getting better and you don't get better, then you've gotten worse.
You're sitting there saying, wow, Texas, Seattle, and the Yankees are winning all these games in August and September. How come we're not winning all these games in August and September? It's because the other teams are better than you now.
They get so inside themselves just looking at all this stuff. What What about the teams that you're going to be competing against here? If you want to make the postseason, if that's truly what your goal is, and I don't know if it is. I don't know if they've just kind of pushed it off and they're kicking the can down the road to next year. But there's no reason to believe that things would be any different next year.
Take
either.
a look, and Ken Rosenthal said it afterwards. Just because you're good this year with young talent doesn't mean that's going to happen next year. Look at the Baltimore Orioles, who are loaded with young talent and are terrible this year. Well, you got a decent shot this year in a year where there's no team you look at and go, oh my God, we can't beat them.
Yeah. And the thing is that Seattle and Texas improved themselves greatly, and you stayed pat. And now one of those teams, if both of those teams make the playoffs, you're out.
Yes.
So,
and that, by the way, is a very distinct possibility at this point.
Seattle's a game behind you for the second spot, and Texas is 2 games behind you. So, yes, that's an incredibly large possibility of that happening. I can't believe Seattle's not better, but Seattle went obviously all in. They took the 2 positional players of any note that were available, corner infielders that you ignored.
Cal Raleigh has 42 home runs without any protection, and you just gave him some.
Right,
I mean, that's insane.
They just acquired the 2 best bats at positions that you could have used them. I mean, you could have used a corner infielder. I mean, you could have put a first baseman, which is what they got. I mean, either of those guys could have played first base. One of them got to play first base.
The whole idea of the Red Sox saying, Breslow specifically saying that they were willing to get uncomfortable, is a lie. The reports are they wouldn't include Jarren Duran. San Diego kept asking about Jarren Duran for most of the afternoon yesterday, and the Red Sox told them no. Minnesota wanted Jarren Duran for Joe Ryan at that last minute, and they told them no. You weren't willing to get uncomfortable. You weren't willing to overspend. I mean, are you in this or not? The prices are going to be high. If you're trying to win, you get uncomfortable. Maybe you overspend a little bit, but you show the fan base that you're really trying. You're actually trying instead of afterwards saying that you were and clearly weren't. There's a big difference there. Texas Ranger fans, Seattle Mariner fans, even Yankee fans can look at it and go, my team may not win, but we tried. That's all you're asking for. You could consider that guy in San Diego, A.J. Preller, ridiculous because he goes out of his mind every trading deadline.
Well, he went ridiculous this year because the thought is that they're all in this year. Well, but they're all in this year because they're looking to cut salary next year.
But in the years previous, he overspends on contracts.
And now
he tries to
it's
do
time to
these
pay
things.
the fiddler. So, but I understand what you're saying.
He keeps going. He keeps trying.
We'll see how it is to be a Padre fan next year. But it's just puts you at the same level as the Red Sox anyway, no matter what. So the worst case scenario is you're the Red Sox. But if you were really interested in getting Ryan from Minnesota, a young pitcher with term, that would have been your second best starter, and that's only because you have a great first starter.
Would have given you a hell of a chance in the playoffs.
And that's the thing, is that if your computer system, which is apparently what they use for everything, is a analytics system, which they don't use analytics to influence moves, they use analytics to decide moves. So there's a difference there. It removes the human element, which you're hearing a lot about in sports now, which is curious to me because why would you pay a GM anything? I'd pay a guy $50,000 to put a suit on every day and come in and start a computer. I mean, if I'm just indebted to AI or the analytics, completely indebted, not using them to influence, but I just do what they say, regardless of personal opinion or baseball knowledge, then what's the point of having a GM? Just sign a figurehead to talk to the media and just do what the computer says.
Or this huge staff where they sit around wringing their hands and having these meetings and talking.
Yes, you could save yourself millions of dollars if you're just going to go with computers. I mean, it's like the way customer service is being done now on the phone. Just use computers. Who cares? Save yourself all that money. Players got to play these games. You can't use AI to play the games. That you need, as of now, until we get to a computer system where people just build their own rosters and play probably. This is what we have to do. We need a human element. So if you wanted Ryan now and you go, okay, well, based on past history, we'd have to give up this, and this to get Ryan at the trade deadline. And in the offseason, we could pursue Ryan and we'd have to give up this. The offseason deal is better. What I would say is the human element as an owner, if you were willing to extend yourself to get someone of that quality, why wouldn't you want him now? Why wait? What's wrong with having him now? Have the second seed in the wild card. If you get this pitcher, conceivably, you're in the playoffs. You're pretty much guaranteeing a spot in the playoffs if you get him. And then you're saying in the first round, we're going to have as good a 1-2 start as anyone. We're going to have as good a number 1 and number 2 starter as anyone in the league.
Are you trying to win or not? Are you trying to win, or are you trying to win on your own computer terms, which, by the way, none of your competitors are doing? I mean, you need to pay attention to those guys. You need to react in this case.
And you know what's funny?
To do that.
Steve Phillips, who was obviously a GM for the Mets and everything, is now an analyst, was saying, and he's right because it makes sense, what gets you fired is not making the bold move. What gets you fired ultimately is just sitting. And it happened to Chaim Bloom. It's going to happen to Breslow. It's why no one wanted this job. It's why they had to get to Breslow in the first place.
Breslow's like their 12th choice.
Because
they had all these people to turn it down.
Because an owner might tell you, I want to be inactive. Da-da-da-da. Now, if there's a big rebuilding project in Cincinnati or like in Cleveland, like, okay, just sell. And then so the guy does what the owner says. Maybe that buys you a year or two. But ultimately, standing pat in these situations, what guarantees your success as a GM is winning, not budget. And if you don't win and Breslow doesn't win, in 2 years he's going to get fired.
And playing it safe, like you said.
Exactly. So what doesn't get him fired, you would think, is winning a World Series or getting to an ALCS. That doesn't get you fired. What gets you fired is missing the playoffs. And you can turn around and throw your hands up and go, the owner wouldn't let me do anything, but you're still going to get fired, and no one else is going to hire you because you couldn't win in Boston. So if I was Breslow, I would be doing everything I could to push for this year because there's no guarantee next year. What if Anthony gets hurt? I mean, there's just stuff that happens. What if Crochet gets hurt? He can't make this start.
That's right, and that's another thing. Crochet, against all odds, even though the innings are piling up, is still healthy. You never expected this.
But is this him, or is this him just towing the company line?
We weren't willing to take a hit to our major league team and potentially impact the 2025 season, in favor of trying to repackage or repurpose.
No. Ryan wasn't for guys on the team right now. Get out of here with that. You gave up the guy in your team. You already did that. And by the way, you flipped him for Dusty May. The Mayflower. You traded him for a guy who's been kicked out of the rotation who just got beat up at your own park.
The inability to pivot and go after other pitching help, that's on Breslow. That's not an ownership thing. His inability or unwillingness to pivot off of starting pitching when he realized the price was too high and bring in help for his bullpen, that's incompetence.
Start tracking.
Anybody worth a damn in this business sees if you can't get one thing, maybe you get something else to help out your ball club.
All right, if you are a Red Sox fan, here's what I would start doing. It will take you 5 seconds. Is just look at their top 10 to 20 prospects, not top 1 through 10. Look for 10 through 20, so 10, 11, 12, 13, so on and so forth. And follow their careers and see where they end up. And if 3 of them make the major leagues and stick, God bless Craig Breslow. But I'll tell you what, I bet you none of those guys turn into regular major leaguers. And that's the caliber of prospect you had to give up to get some kind of help for your team. These guys, except for the Padres who got the A's closer, except for the Padres, no one gave up like a superstar prospect.
Right.
No, I mean, to my understanding,
no, you're right. The number 3 overall prospect
from
the Athletics,
the Padres, and it was considered wild and unprecedented, and oh my God. And that's what struck me, John, is that the media's reaction to the Padres trading that higher prospect was, Jesus, this never happens. So what does that tell me? That tells me that everyone else, without even reviewing it, which I have now, but without even reviewing it, no one gave up a peak prospect.
Texas, let's go back to Merrill Kelly real quick. We talked about it earlier, but we didn't talk about it here. Merrill Kelly, a starting pitcher, very consistent for Arizona over the last 4 years. Solid, low 3s ERA. He's a guy who can eat innings for you. Would have been your number 2 starter. It was you in Texas at about 5:15 yesterday afternoon from Merrill Kelly from Arizona. Texas outbid you. The Rangers have a bottom 10 farm system. They traded 3 top 15 prospects off of a bottom 10 farm system, and they outbid you. That should never happen. Do the Red Sox have depth in their farm system now or not? I was told they did.
Yeah, what was the point of selling out for the farm system? And by the way, you've reaped the rewards of it, so congratulations. No one can fault you. You did great. You turned your prospects into Crochet, Meyer, Campbell, and Anthony. Great. That's unbelievable. Fine. Win. Go. Like, turn these things around. 10 through 20, get out of here with that. No. Nonsense. It's nonsense. So I really do, Ryan, this is a job for you. Start tracking these prospects. I got at least 2.5 years left here unless I screw up. And Bert ruins another F-150 giveaway.
Check it.
But I want to check in like this time next year and see where these prospects are and see how they're moving through the system.
Top prospect is Justinson Garcia.
But they weren't going to give him up. That's not who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about a guy who's number 10.
Okay.
I'm talking about 11, 12, 13,
Fair
14.
enough.
I'm talking about those guys.
All
and
right.
if one of those pitchers or one of those positional players, I don't know who they are off the top of my head, but if one or two of those guys they stick on the major league roster, then okay. But we'll see. Because I'm not convinced that happens. I'd like to track their careers. Because we don't do that. And this might be interesting. Because this is the first, you know me, I'm not a big fan of the trope of crapping on the Red Sox no matter what. But this season's been a real humdinger.
It's amazing.
They flipped Dustin Pedroia. They flipped Devers for May and the jabroni from the
Mats.
No, not Mats, but the kid right-hander that throws hard, the Hicks.
Yeah,
Hicks and May. Hicks and May is what you flipped them for. Seriously. Hicks and May. So a guy who's never going to close for you and a guy who's never going to start for you, except for if you're in, I guess you're in an emergency right now and just needed a body.
He's the 5th starter.
Well, congratulations.
Dustin May
So
is
you
your
won't
5th
see him in
starter.
October outside of a blowout in the 6th inning. Great. All right. Very good. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, gentlemen, as you
play more free.
Dulac and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub. Why do people listen to Touch Your
Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
None of the deals that didn't end up being executed, in my opinion, came from a lack of being aggressive or an unwillingness to get uncomfortable.
Good morning. How we doing?
We are doing well. Obviously, you can, as you figure, maybe have heard, the fan base of the Red Sox very upset. There were no moves at the deadline. What did you make of Craig Breslow's explanations?
It's funny, as he said, the quote, the bite you just ran, he's talking about being uncomfortable. You think you're uncomfortable today? Wait till you wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
You want to be uncomfortable? Go talk to that. Listen, it was a letdown. There's no doubt about it. This was a team that was poised to add, and yeah, I mean they did. I'm not, they're better than they were before the trade. They got a pitcher and Matt's a career journeyman, from the Mets, but everybody else got significantly better. Everybody else you care about in the race here did real moves to improve themselves, and the Red Sox did not keep pace. That's really disappointing if you're a fan.
Okay, what is the inclination not to add, do you think? This is something that needs to be explored. It sounds obvious, but there's no real financial burden to it. The prospects short of the Padres trade that were moved weren't like elite, game-changing franchise prospects. What do you think contributes to the unwillingness to make a move?
Yeah, I don't know that there's an unwillingness to move. I do think that if you play back everything Breslow said yesterday at the end, he made it clear they were not moving guys off the major league roster, right? At one point he said that. He goes, we're taking away from the major league roster. And I just think right now they've got a really good farm system, but it's really in the low minors at this point because except for the password, everybody else is up. Christian Campbell is a guy who would have been a highly sought-after guy if he hadn't signed that contract. But now if you're trading for him, you're trading for him with a major league contract, and you're not sure he's worth that contract yet. I just don't think there's enough upper-end AAA talent right now that's going to entice people. So you would have had to entertain, and we had a big debate about this yesterday on the trade deadline show, were you going to trade Jarren Duran? And I think they might have entertained that more before the Marcelo Meyer injury, but now they need all the outfielders. And so I just think that they got caught in the middle between, not being willing to move off the major league roster and not gutting out the entire farm system, which you might have had to do. But, you talk about being uncomfortable. Those are the bold moves you got to make sometimes. And now we'll see. We've seen this time and again. If this team struggles, we're going to say it's all because they didn't add to it and the team was let down.
Yeah, but a lot of these kids that were moved are not AAA kids or double. I mean, a lot of these, a lot of the moves that are being heralded from the teams that sold were made for real young guys. What did I just see? Yeah, there was a bunch of tall lefty pitchers that were in a trade, and they're all
single A guys.
Yeah, the single A. They're like 21 and 22.
Three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just, Peyton Tolley would have been that guy for the Red Sox if they'd have moved him. I get the feeling they didn't want to move him.
Okay, let me give you an
Tyson
example.
Witherspoon, who they just drafted, I don't think they were going to move him.
So Merrill Kelly went for 3 prospects. And
right.
in the Diamondbacks, you've got
that would have been a great guy. That would have been a great guy for the Red Sox.
Okay, the main guy they got is a 6'5" lefty who's 22. And then they got a double-A kid who's 21 who is good. But these are not, necessarily kids that are playing. I mean, these are not kids that probably play this year. So...
Well, then, I mean, the other part, I thought this was a pretty stunning admission for Breslow when he said yesterday, the other team has to like your prospects. The other team has to like your players. I mean, so if they don't like your players, then you got to do an entire review of your farm system, right? I mean,
right.
So if you're saying those 3 guys go for Kelly and you couldn't match those 3 guys because they didn't value your prospects as highly as they valued other teams' prospects, then you got to, is that a problem?
But that's
we've been told this is a really good farm system for
that's
a
the
couple
thing.
of years
That's
now.
the thing.
An interesting
The Red
point.
Sox apparently have a top 10 farm system. You take a look at Texas; they're in the bottom 10. How did they outbid you for that? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, that's the most damning thing. And to bring it back around from a macro point of view, Tom, what do you think the vision for this franchise is? It's certainly not to win at all costs. So I'm having a hard time figuring out what direction they want to put this franchise in exactly.
Yeah, the farm system is interesting because for years we know that as good as it was, and it is a good farm system, and the Red Sox are reaping the benefits, right? A lot of those guys are on the big club now, but they're all position players. They're not pitchers. So in the last 2 years, they've started to rebuild the pitching infrastructure. But we know Chaim Bloom never used the first-round pick on a pitcher. Never signed, I don't remember the number, never had a signing bonus of over $1 million for a pitcher. So it was all position players, and those are not valued as highly as pitchers. We know that. So the pitchers they've got, the guys we're talking about are guys they got in trade, the Sandlins of the world that they've got in the minors the last couple of years, and guys they've just drafted in the last year or so. So that is part of it. As far as the vision, I do think they believe this is a playoff team. And we want them to go all in to make this a championship team. Is it a championship team this year? I don't know. Would they have been Joe Ryan, and we had a great debate. J.P. Ricciardi, former GM who was on the show with us, he goes, would you have traded Jarren Duran for Joe Ryan straight up? And just about everybody on the panel said no. And Ricciardi, former GM, said, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Of course you would.
You'd have Crochet 1 and Ryan 2.
Of course you would. Absolutely you
but
would.
Like Lou Merlone, who I really trust, Lou Merlone's like, no way, I want the everyday guy. And because of what Duran means to this team right now. See, I think there's still a real chance Duran gets traded in the offseason. But I think and I don't think they turned down. I don't think there was a lot of offers for him yesterday. But I just think they believe pulling Durant out in the middle of the season might hurt this team more than not doing anything.
As opposed to trading Rafael Devers, who's a better hitter.
Well, if you include that, and by the way, part of the Jarren Duran stuff is he really is he's become a really important leader in that clubhouse, and you could talk about what that means to a team or not, but the young guys really go to Durant. Yeah, Bregman's like the man, right? Bregman's the alpha dog in that clubhouse. But Jarren Duran is a guy who talks a lot to these young guys about struggles because he's gone through stuff. So that's part of it, too.
Okay, but Tom...
But I'm taking an all-star starter with 2.5 years of term that's 29 over a guy who's good in the clubhouse.
And also, Tom, whatever clubhouse atmosphere there is right now, you alluded to this a little while ago. How do they react, these same guys in the clubhouse, Jarren Duran, even the leaders, when they find out there's no help coming and that essentially the team wouldn't do anything to get you guys some improvement because maybe they don't believe in you?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think you're going to have a split reaction. I think the Bregmans of the world are going to be pissed, right? The guys who've been through this want the help because they see an opportunity. Roman Anthony's not going to have any different feeling today going to the ballpark. Roman Anthony's been up here for a month and a half.
Happy to be here.
Roman Anthony isn't sitting around going, damn, we could have had Carlos Correa. So that can be overblown. I think veteran teams react worse to that than young teams do. Because young teams don't know enough.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Right? I do think there's some truth to that. Now, I want to go back to Devers because you brought that in. It's interesting. I thought this driving home last night after the show, where we did 2 hours on absolutely nothing, and I was thinking about what if Devers were traded yesterday? Forget for the same. What if that was part of it? You would think this is the worst. Then you'd be killing these guys even more, right? Because
they flipped them from May and Hicks.
Anything out of that group that helps this, right?
Right. You flipped them from. Well, what you did is you flipped them for. And ultimately, it would be like if you traded him for two different teams. You traded him for May and Hicks. Is essentially what you did.
May would be part of the haul you got for Devers, but all you'd be talking about today is you got rid of Devers and you didn't get anything back.
Right.
I mean, that's right. So if you want to, let's run it back and include him in the thing. Then if I give him a C, you're probably moving it down to a D if you want to include the Devers trade as part of this.
Well, we would have thought that there was institutional incompetence. We would have thought that there was somehow like a gambling ring going on if the Devers trade would have came back with that return at the deadline. if a bat of that
Cleveland
caliber,
looking to see what first pitches look like tomorrow night.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's start pounding the under because this team's tanking. I mean, that's what you would think. It's funny. I looked. Not that it matters, but the pitchers involved in that trade for Merrill are not top 100 prospects. I mean, not that it matters because rarely do these guys get moved.
It just doesn't sound like Breslow really got all that uncomfortable. It sounds like he wanted to deal. He kept saying that over and over to you guys during this press conference. We were willing to get uncomfortable. It really doesn't look that way to me.
Or not uncomfortable enough, right? I say this a lot now, and yesterday kind of proved me wrong a little bit, but not on the Red Sox side. I do think that a lot of modern front offices have a lot of trouble pulling off trades because they're all using the same algorithmic modeling that other groups are using, right? So they're laying it all out, and they're saying, all right, this is value for value, but we need to win the trade. So then we're going to add this, and the other teams running it through their own version of the same algorithm, and they're saying, well, no, we're not going to do that. Like, you got to, Buster Posey was bold making the Devers trade. Now, listen, it's blown up in their face. It hasn't worked well. But it was an old-school baseball move. Like, I want the superstar. I'm going to do it. And, again, he didn't give up a ton. He took the money. But there just aren't many of those deals yesterday. Although, looking around baseball, like, some of these deals to get guys were good baseball moves. Minnesota eating a bunch of the Correa deal. And Houston kind of going all in on that, even though he's going to get injured. But they look at him as a guy who might make the difference this year. Seattle won the whole thing. I mean, Seattle's the best team in the American League now. They could have 2 50-home run guys. I don't think that's happened since 1961.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a general manager that is well-respected but just hasn't won. And so this is his big swing is this year. And so
this is big swing. It's also after a few years of not doing anything at the trade deadline.
That's what I'm saying.
The last 2 years, you've been waiting for Seattle to make a move like this, and they didn't.
Right.
This is the second go-round for Breslow. He hasn't – you wonder sometimes. We say, hey, it's been one playoff run in 6 years. But Breslow, he's like, well, one of those was mine. Right? Like, there is a certain amount to GMs come in and say, I've got a plan. This is the plan for the next 3 years. Red Sox talk about sustainability. I'm not sure sustainability exists in sports because you could say, listen, we're going to be really good next year. I don't know. Are you? If Crochet comes off the mound in May holding his arm, are you going to be, there's no way you can bank on next year. Yeah. You've got a chance right now. We've seen this. I've covered this team a long time. And when I started covering them, it was 86 years and all that. And you just can't bank on next year. You are holding a playoff spot right now. And if you could have added Joe Kelly, and maybe that's it, but even Merrill Kelly, you add one of those guys to this, you're a completely different team when you get to Fenway Park tonight. You've got two guys who can shove at the top, and then you've got Bayo's a better 3 than he is a 2, and Giolito's better 4 than he is a 3, and now you don't have to lean on Walker Buehler as much. That's a whole different place from Dustin May being your number 5 guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely right.
Well, it's very interesting. Thank you, Tom Karen. We couldn't have asked for a better guest today. Thank you so much. And everyone watch him on Nesson as the Red Sox are in the playoffs. You wouldn't know it today, but they are. They are in the playoffs. But, I mean, even Karen admits, I mean, if they would have traded Devers for May, say May and Hicks were on the same team.
Yeah.
If you would have traded Devers for May and Hicks, wouldn't there be an investigation?
Yes, absolutely would have been an
investigation.
I'm
not exaggerating.
No,
I don't know if the league lets you do that. Like, would the league let you do that at the deadline?
No, the commissioner. Well, not this commissioner, but a decent commissioner would step in and go, "Excuse me."
Manfred's a good commissioner, John. Stop it. Manfred's a good commissioner. Are you kidding? The game's not better than before he took it over. The game's better than before he took it over. I like Manfred as a commissioner. I really do. I'm surprised you don't.
We'll see. We'll see where we are in about a year and a half. We'll see how you think.
I don't. Unless you put Gandhi in there, I don't know who's going to negotiate peace. And Gandhi was shot, so I don't know who's going to negotiate peace.
You got to bring that up. Too soon.
Because I gave Gandhi as a great symbol of peace, and then I said, and then I thought, oh yeah, he got assassinated. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub.
you what this guy looks like who is the lead singer of the band.
Okay.
He is about what you would... It looks like a prep school dress down, an old-fashioned prep school dress down. Let me find the page for you.
Seashell necklace, leaning against a golden tea machine. It's a Robbie Road Steamer classic.
That's a vision right there. I've seen that in many bars over my life.
All right, to suffice to say, as I find it, he's a little white guy with like long hair, like a Dutch boy haircut. He's wearing a tie-dyed shirt. There's a lot of things that speak. There's no way I'm misidentifying him as Lily White. There's zero chance of human error as I can look for it, but I can tell you with all confidence that there is very little chance that this is of anyone that I'm misrepresenting the color of their skin. And here might be the worst example of cultural appropriation I've ever heard, somehow allowed by the most fanatically self-described liberal people in the entire planet, hippies. And here is what it is.
To burn down racism.
Okay, I gotta find him. I gotta find him. I gotta find a picture of him. I can't. When I bring up catatonic use, I can't get it to show. But I have to find a picture of him because it is that good. Here we go. You got. You have to end the racism.
Okay.
Okay, let me start over.
To burn down racism.
He says King Selassie. He's talking about Haile Selassie. He's the Jah. He's talking about. He's talking as if he's a Rastafarian. That he is straight from the streets of Kingston. That he's a Rastafarian.
To burn down racism. Say me happy burn them down. King Selassie, I your wedding crown. Hey my God, all the youths them now. Come on, everyone's racist. Burn it down, happy burn.
Yeah.
The singing is bad enough, but in the speaking voice and the calm response to the crowd, like, come on, everyone.
Not a face of color, any kind of, even remote color in the band nor the audience. A complete whitewash. It is a call to end racism to a crowd that single-handedly might be able to do their part of not being the aggressors. It is a completely white crowd. And someone at least that found that video sent it to the guy so it could be exposed. Earlier, I did talk to you about Jim Cramer. You know Jim Cramer. He does the Money Show on CNBC.
Is it Mad Money?
Mad Money. He hits a big red button and like things go off. He was all over that crash in 2008. I think the day of the crash,
which Jon Stewart yelled at him about afterward.
Well, I just think it's funny that you could, the day before the market crash in 2008, be saying that none of this is a factor, which is legitimately what he did. Have the market crash in that dramatic a fashion, which some people had foreseen happening, The Big Short, for instance. And some people have called this that these home loans are going nowhere, and then continue for 20 years afterwards just talking about the market. Like, you didn't predict the crash. Why should anyone listen to anything you have to say? But this is not his usual Mad Money. He is they're at I would imagine, the New York Stock Exchange. There's three guys, and they are sitting around, and here's what Jim Cramer has to say.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut.
What the
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hey.
All right, so I talked about this with my dad. I can't tell if Cramer is upset about something Trump's doing or he's defending something Trump's doing in like the Fed rate and the economy. It's an overall prospectus on tariffs, the economy, and the Fed rates. But I don't know. My father even doesn't really know what side of this issue he lays on, but not so much. So he drops the F-bomb. But listen to the way he tries to, or just he reacts. It's not trying to cover it up. The way he reacts to this. Would you react like this if you said the F word this morning?
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut.
What the Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take it right back.
Everybody,
I take it right back.
That was big. It's okay. We're in the moment.
I take it right back.
It's just the way
I take it right back. That was big.
It's
Cable with a ticker, as Joe Kernan would say.
I take that back.
That's right.
Real people doing live TV.
No.
Jim, though, to your point, Goldman today, the most notable change.
I think I'm out of here.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely
Goldman
fine.
today, the most notable.
You want me to say one?
No, I just feel like enough with the rate cut and the economy's booming.
Let Carl talk now.
Goldman today, most notable change.
Okay, so his reaction to it was, I'm going to get fired. I take it back. First of all, you're allowed to swear on basic cable. How much has the culture changed that he drops that F-bomb and the two guys next to him are like, who cares?
Yeah.
There's the internet. Your kids hear swears. I got news for you. This whole guise of the public airwaves and kids shouldn't be exposed to this stuff. If they don't have a phone, two kids next to them has a phone and they can listen to whatever they want on the internet. So that illusion is out of the air. But my favorite thing about that is instinct to say, I take it back. I take back the F word. I take it back. Big deal.
I didn't say it.
But the reaction of the guy next to him is, this is live TV. We're human beings. Imagine if everyone thought that way when someone made a verbal mistake. Like if an announcer mispronounces a word and it comes out as like a nasty word, but they didn't mean to do it. If people just didn't say, oh, yeah, well, him being a human being and all.
Right.
That, perhaps a mistake was in his holster.
No, that's the definition of a fleeting expletive. You can't get in trouble for it. I mean, your boss might have something to say to you about it, but it's not like you're going to jail or getting fined or anything else, and you can't on cable anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the advertisers may not like it, but they'll get over it. It's fine.
How many advertisers are watching that, and so you don't want to be associated with someone saying the F word?
Right.
Like, we want a certain type of investor, these guys that have CNBC on. I imagine that's a fairly wealthy demographic. Not a large one, but you're pretty safe to say if someone's got CNBC on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they've got some money at least invested. So if I'm an investment house, maybe this is exactly where I want to go. The F word is not going to ruins that advertising opportunity. All right, caller number 10 now to the contest line, 617-931-0985. You will win a pair of tickets to see comedian Nate Bargatze at the TD Garden on Saturday, August 9th.
He's totally spooked.
2 shows virtually sold out with a third show added at 3 p.m. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. I don't know why his name is like that. It's impossible to read. Not for you two, but for me, it is, and I don't know what to tell you. If we were having a conversation, he told me his name, I'd say it back to him the same way. When I read it, it looks like that. That A should be pronounced as an A. I have Toucher as a last name, and you also understand. Jim Cramer also said Lenny Dykstra was an investing genius. That is true. He used to have Lenny Dykstra on.
Yeah.
And when we talked to Lenny Dykstra, he was ripping copper piping out of his house.
That's right.
One of his homes.
Sheen called him in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
When Charlie Sheen was in studio, we called up Lenny Dykstra, and Lenny Dykstra was in the process of ripping copper piping out of one of the homes that he had to give up in a divorce.
Yeah, that was a good investment. You buy that home with all that copper piping in it.
Yeah, you want to be in that kind of. That's a good financial status to be in. It's like, the wife's getting the house. I might as well rip out the copper piping. That's a businessman. No, nothing. Lawyers won't have anything to say about that. And it was also the middle of the night, so that's good that he was doing it then. We'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
844-LIVE-DRY or premierbasement.net. It's game over for water.
McGovern Auto Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. Follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram for info on how to qualify to win a 2025 Ford F-150.
Complete rules and details at 98.5thesportshub.com.
From the Tell Your Time Studios, WBC-FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
In the end, the Red Sox really didn't do much at the Major League Baseball trade deadline after near misses with Arizona's Merrill Kelly, and at the last minute, Minnesota All-Star starter Joe Ryan. The Sox pivoted and got Dodgers starting pitcher Dustin May in exchange for the recently acquired minor leaguer James Tibbs and Double-A outfielder Zach Earhart. Craig Breslow said he did his best.
We're happy with the guys that we brought in with Steven and Dustin, but we also pursued real impact players that we felt like could improve our team in 25 and beyond. Like I said, we were kind of uncomfortably aggressive in trying to pursue them, and the players that we were willing to put into deals.
May just lost to the Red Sox last weekend at Fenway. He was 6-7 with the Dodgers with an ERA of almost 5 and just got taken out of the starting rotation by manager Dave Roberts this week. On the field, the Red Sox had last night off. They play Houston at Fenway Park tonight. Across Major League Baseball, a lot of deals yesterday. Texas acquired Sox target Merrill Kelly. Yankees got Pittsburgh closer David Bednar and Giants closer Camilo Doval. San Diego made a handful of trades, including Athletics closer Mason Miller. Patriots held a walkthrough at training camp yesterday. Carlton Davis back out on the field. Also, the Patriots have activated wide receiver Mac Hollins from the PUP list. Next up, the big season ticket holder practice inside Gillette Stadium late today. It begins at 5:30 this afternoon. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today. Massachusetts is the #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning. Day or night and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston Toll for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. It's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Fred describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
We do. We are on top of that. All right, Hardy. I have announced that I pulled a card yesterday that I've seen J.J. McCarthy out of 23 cracked ice Prism signed on card that my son got very excited when I pulled it, and I didn't really care, and I immediately he sleeved it, put it in a flimsy plastic sleeve, and then put it in a hardcore plastic sleeve. And then hours later, we were at the gym, and that ends in 6 days. And Hardy, that is how I do my business.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people's. I'm not alone. This is why there's no guarantee this card will sell, even though it is at the low price of the starting bid at $5,000. If J.J. McCarthy becomes a top 5 quarterback, this thing could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Doubtful.
I just want to dump it.
Why you say that?
It's got 8 watchers now, thanks to the audience. It's going to look like a big deal.
I'm trying to inspire the contrarian investors out there.
Oh.
See, you know well enough, John, that whatever we say here, people will push back against. So I say, no way J.J. McCarthy is going to be that good. That will automatically inspire people to say, oh, that guy's an idiot. Yes, he will. I'm going to give Freddie T $20,000 for that card. So you're welcome.
You're reading this wrong. Everybody absolutely loves you, Hardy. They're going to take what you say as gospel.
Right. Is this all it means to get us into some other ways of doing business? And
it's getting you into the Facebook thing.
Okay.
Because don't worry about not getting it, because I forgot why I was doing it halfway through and then finally remembered. I was buying a little time
But
there.
you know what it is, Fred? The card collectors are a community. How's that?
Very good.
And there are many communities that you can find on Facebook, these Facebook groups. Now, I myself have not participated in Facebook, anything in years now. I haven't posted anything. Occasionally, I'll get notifications from the people that I do follow, like randomly will pop up in my email inbox, and I'll log on to see something of, somebody from my high school died. That's terrible. And then you can read up on it and catch up on it. But I was not aware of these Facebook groups. There are several Facebook groups, perhaps millions of Facebook groups dedicated to virtually whatever you want. So let's start with just something for Freddie T, and then we have something for Wallach. There's something for all of us in these Facebook groups.
All right.
Okay.
And this is, I'm playing this one. Okay, so here we go.
This is, the administrator of this book is a man by the name of Jeff Wong. Now, Jeff Wong had, and I can play these too, Fred, just to make sure I have the right one here.
Okay. Yeah, you play that one.
He had two groups before this one that he can no longer get access to, as he posted in this Facebook group of foot fetishes.
Oh, boy.
So foot fetish group 1 either shut down or he no longer has access to. Foot fetish 2, ditto. So now 3 times the charm. This is foot fetish group 3, once again administrated by Jeff Wong, which is mostly photos and videos of feet with serene ambient music in the background. But there are also links to other things that you can access via this group, and some of them, again, not video, just audio. Erotic foot fetish audio. Ryan?
I have it. I have the erotic foot fetish.
Right.
I'm sorry. The colleges are finally able to reach out to kids.
Oh,
today. And my son just got up, so he's texting me furious.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, very good. All right,
this is
here we go.
Erotic audio. Think Hustler Hot Letters, but in audiobook form. This is essentially what this is. Again, no video to go with it. It's just audio.
Okay, here we go.
I can't help but think back to the first time we realized our mutual attraction. We were both at a bar for our friend's birthday.
Okay, I don't think this is a human being by any way, shape, or form. This is A to the I. And this gets me to my point that I had heard another person say, which I think is good. At what point does AI take over social media to the point where people think everything's BS and stop consuming it? Because right away, I'm 50, which is not in the window to know what AI is. I know this lady ain't no foot fetishist. It's a computer. But it does make me think, what if I had a computer and I could make it say whatever I wanted to entice people to my group? What would I have it say?
I can't help but think back to the first time we realized our mutual attraction. We were both at a bar for our friend's birthday. My phone was dead and I needed to call a cab home. You lent me yours, and I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. Turns out we both have something of a foot fetish.
Oh, how did you notice?
Was it my screensaver?
Was it the bags and bags and bags of stolen shoes? What tipped you off? I break for feet. A number 2 in C's. 2 C's. Or I just put 2 C's. It's 2 C's. It's my vanity plate. Some people think it's a medium breast fetish, but no.
It's my Hang 10 phone case.
Life-sized? 11.5?
I've never told anyone about it. In fact, I've always been a little ashamed of it. But then, when I saw this...
Me too! Shame! Yeah, let's share! Make me feel worse! Hello! I feel great shame. Punish! You know what would change that? You stepping on something, Dad. It just so happens I have all these used rat traps.
In fact, I've always been a little ashamed of it. But then, when I saw those photos on your phone, I knew I could trust you. So, here we are, naked on your bed, with my feet in your hands.
Why'd you take your clothes off? Put a feather in my hands. Put them back. That's of no interest to me. What are you more comfortable that way? Sure.
Do you notice the rubbing sound constantly in the background?
By the way, before the internet, did anyone have a foot fetish? Did anyone know that another person had a foot fetish before the internet? And the idea that a woman has a foot fetish is even... Have you ever heard of a woman having a foot fetish?
No.
This is almost, I would imagine, 99.9% a male-dominated industry.
Which is why some of the psychological explanations also can be found in another Facebook group. Psychological explanations don't make sense because one of the leading theories is that just being in a happy place in childhood, playing on the floor amongst bare feet, brings people the feeling of joy. And I said, well, little girls play on the floor around lots of bare feet, so why do they not have this obsession?
I've told you the reason that I've heard for the foot fetish, have I not?
The mother's bare feet.
Well, the idea, and it's the same thing with the stocking fetish, is the idea is that when the boy is scared when he's a child, he hugs the mother's leg. And that feeling, and it's almost erotic. You're like very close to their genitals and everything else when you're hugging the leg. And so that feel of the stocking and that closeness to the feet.
Yes.
You know, it's all about your mom. It's all driven by your mommy. That's why women, they don't hug their mother's legs. And they don't hug their father's legs. They're stronger as a sex.
Unlike the shy gal you thought you knew.
Huh? What? Your computer jammed. What'd you say? Put your clothes back on. Come on, stop laying down and get to stepping. You're tracking mud in the room. Not enough. Go outside and dirty them up. Jeez Louise, I thought you had a fetish. You don't know how to do this at all. Why am I not in pain? Jeez, tapping the watch. Hello.
Here we are, naked on your bed with my feet in your hands. Unlike the shy gal you thought you knew.
Oh, the shy girl, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I made the fast move and invited you over for strictly casual sex.
Oh, yeah. You want me to come over for sex? Okay. I mean, maybe. Hopefully, you know, something's, you know, you got bugs or something.
I made the fast move.
How dirty is your kitchen?
Yeah. You got anything rotten in the refrigerator you can make shoved down my mouth? I don't know. You got petty plastic bags you can put over my head?
Okay, but don't clean the bathroom first.
Yeah. All right. Casual sex, okay.
I made the fast move and invited you over for strictly casual sex. An opportunity to engage in our shared interests.
Yeah, stop enjoying it. I'm a worm.
I love the feeling of your lips gliding along the sole of my foot.
Okay.
You like it?
Yeah, stop.
Right.
Stop talking. Come on. My oratory. I want to go solely on smell, no sounds. Stop narrating the effing thing. The feet are in my face. Now shut up. I'm about to stick your toes in my ears. I get it. You're just saying what's going on. And your clothes are off. Gross.
I like being pampered. Worship.
You got Pampers? Why aren't they on me? I need to be changed. Hello? Stick to a topic, lady. You're jumping all over the place. Heavens to Murgatroyds.
I like being pampered, worshipped. And it turns out you like worshipping.
Where does he come from? Why can't I see him?
Is he in pain?
Can we switch places? What's he got, the chair?
Is that to her?
What? Where did he come from?
Why can't he speak? There should be a gag in his mouth.
Yeah, come on. Who let him out of the box? That's for after. That's dessert.
Is that to Her Majesty's liking?
Shut up. Yeah, it feels good.
Well, make up your mind. Shut up or does it feel good?
Well, I knew you would enjoy that, Fred, but there are other groups, one here for John.
Okay.
This is a Facebook group known as Booty Clap.
Oh.
And it is...
Hello.
This one, good and bad for our purposes, because they are almost exclusively videos of women doing booty claps. You know what a booty clap is?
Yes, the ass cheeks are so big when you bounce up and down, they clap together. Hell yes, I know what that is.
Exactly. However, most of the video is just the clapping sound, and there's not a lot else to it. So it took some digging, but we found a girl who had a little something to say in addition to this particular skill set.
I'm so glad I'm such a strong, beautiful queen, and I never needed nobody to congratulate me, pat me on my back, or clap for me. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Is that her butt?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You've seen that before?
I have.
So there's so much like flab that it can just go boom, 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 boom.
That's correct.
So it's the flab.
Yes. Your ass is so big that it comes around when you jump up and down. It claps together.
Right, but what's funny is I've never seen a clap. I really haven't seen a clapping video. I mean, I obviously can figure it out.
Video. Video.
I've never. Oh, you just like the sound? Oh, you like it in your face? Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay.
You want to know why?
So if you have like a big muscular ass, that's of no use to anyone because it's got to have.
Not for these purposes.
Okay.
No.
All right, it's gross. I can tell you.
I clap for myself.
That's the kind of empowerment video. That's like burning bras. Johnny loves it. Now, have you watched clap videos before?
I have not sought it out and go, I need to take a look at this.
No, I didn't say did you need to.
I have seen it.
Okay,
yes.
Right. And it aroused you.
As I said, there's a line.
Like
the women I found that are really good at this tend to stand on that line and cross it.
Okay, because what I'm guessing is that you like the ass, but you don't need the clapping.
That's correct.
Right. So the ass you like, the clapping is superfluous.
Yes.
I get it. Understood.
All right. I don't think we have time for the last one.
No.
We can save it.
We'll save it.
We'll save it. Keep that bullet in the chamber.
Absolutely, because we have our award-winning email segment.
Yay!
I bet you people weren't doing that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That
seems like a new. That seems like a new thing.
That's like within the last 3 years. I don't think that was 5 years ago. I think this was like 2022.
Well, we'll have to consult the Magic City Guide, but because that's where it would be going on. But you live long enough, and you live through societal trends, from breast to ass, outrageous breasts of the 80s and 90s. Into the outrageous butts of the 20s. We have gone through a whole cultural cycle of what is women's beauty. Is it on their fronts or their backs? You know what it is between their ears. All right, we'll be right back with the award-winning email segment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hunt.
bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. If you'd like to email us, simply go to 985thesportshub.com and check out our email addresses. You can follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Toucher and Hardy. You can follow Hardy on Instagram and Twitter at Hardy985. And the most important thing, really, is to follow me at Fred Toucher, because we're making this a huge, huge business. All right. Bert, earlier in the show, we were talking about, I made a big production. It was our first qualifier to win the Ford F-150. We're giving away a truck. This is like old radio. We're giving away a great valued prize. In the first qualifier, I said to the story, I was talking to you guys, and I said, hey, Ryan, I had to explain to Ryan, who's producing today, that with big giveaways, you have to do the read right, because if you don't, there's people complain, and there's like legal stuff, like it has to be done right. And Ryan was like, oh, I'm like, you've never been a part of a big giveaway before. And Ryan got some more copy, and we did all that. It was a nice exchange with Ryan, so I brought it up to Hardy on the air because I wanted to get into what was the biggest pain in the ass thing you ever had to give away on the air with like people complaining. And he gave this beer example, and he said they were weighing beer, and someone complained, and they said they didn't want the aluminum can or the paper of the cases to count for the weight of beer. And so I say all this, and then I start giving away the qualifying Instagram account, and Bert immediately interrupts me. I'm going to put you in the driver's seat of a brand new...
No, an ounce is...
Shut up, Bert. Jesus Christ, shut up.
Ounces
pull him down. Pull him down. I had to have Ryan pull him down because he still wouldn't shut up. He has apologized via text.
Yes.
And I've let him off the hook. But Andrew says, hey, Toucher. And Bert was saying, Bert's big thing he needed to get out is that ounces is a measure of weight, not like the fluid. And that's what he needed to get out of his mouth, which even if that was right, who cares? This isn't the Bill Nye, the science guy. This isn't Mr. Wizard. Like, who cares?
Right.
You got to be right that badly? I mean, Jesus Christ. It says, hey, Toucher, just wanted to chime in and help Bert, who somehow manages to interrupt you and be wrong at the same time, a rare skill. Quick lesson. There are two kinds of ounces. One measures weight, the other measures volume. That's it. Not hard unless you're Bert. I guess the only volume he cares about is his mic level. Weight ounces equals how heavy something is, like the Bert and Fred carry trying to get through the contest read uninterrupted. Fluid ounces equals how much liquid, a measurement of stuff that flows, like Bert's unearned confidence in BS. So keep up the good work. Every time Bert jumps in, remind him that everything that sounds smart is smart. Love the show. A concerned listener with a middle school science education. I mean, the thing is not even if he was right or wrong. It's that need to, like, prove yourself. Like, that... Did you think 2 seconds after you said they argued with the weight and we said the fluid ounce thing? It was gone. Maybe you a little bit more than me, but not that much. Like, I don't think we would have had a conversation off air about it.
And it's really more from like an audience listening standpoint, because there are some people who are dying when they hear something like that, and they either want to know the answer or they know the answer. They just want to hear it out loud. It happens a lot. You're listening to other shows, and they get something wrong, and nobody ever corrects it, and it just sticks with you. It's just that.
But that would be like a sports thing. That, like, I've had that happen. Like, it's a sports, but on a sports station, it would be a sports thing. Like the weight thing, who cares? But it wasn't even he brought that in for no reason. Like, we weren't having like a grand debate about how much this stuff weighed.
It was done.
It was a throwaway thing by you. I just wanted to kill the time between 4:48 and 4:50. I knew Hardy's been in radio for a long time. He probably gave away a bunch of crazy stuff like I did. And I had my answer for what was the biggest pain in the ass, which was the Cure tickets. So in my head, Jonathan,
yes,
I had planned, okay, we're in 3 minutes early. If I go to Bert, he's going to meander on for 2 hours.
Can't do it.
So you can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this, how to get into the read. I know. What's the biggest? You got to get this to the letter. So I share the story I shared with Ryan. I want everyone to know there is some thought into what I do. Like, I am doing something for a reason. So I went to Hardy because I thought he'd have a 2-minute anecdote. And so, and then Bert comes barreling in with a bunch of unnecessary questions and interrupts the read. Says, Fred, this is from Bill. Not only did he interrupt your read, but he was wrong with his statement. Yes, ounces is a measurement of weight. However, when discussing the amount of liquid in a can, it is measured in fluid ounces, which is a measure of volume. 12 fluid ounces of milk has different weight than 12 fluid ounces of oil, or 12 fluid ounces of water, or 12 fluid ounces of beer. And 12 fluid ounces is the volume inside of the can and has nothing to do with the weight of the can. Beat it, best Bill. Which is actually ancillary to my big problem, which is the needing to get into it. But do you want me to hear one hate mail?
Sure.
Patrick says, Jesus effing Christ, Fred. Lighten the F up. You treated Bert like ass, you dick. Have a good weekend. You owe him an apology. Well, that's just not true. We disagree on that. I think what was said needed to be said. And he has since apologized to me, as a matter of fact, Patrick. To which I said, do not worry about it.
Yes. You were talking. Did you mention the AI interacting with AI on social media?
No. No, my point is that everything on social media will be AI, or you won't know if it is or not, so you'll just get sick of it.
So Amy wrote in, she said, Fred mentioned this idea, which she took to mean you were talking about the critical mass of AI interacting with AI. So where the stuff you see not only is not real, but the comments and responses to it are also AI. And she said, look up dead internet theory for more on this concept. I think the purpose of Facebook is now more about collecting AI training material from the few human users still on it than it is to sell ads, which I would not put it past the people behind Facebook.
No, they're information farming. Absolutely they are. I'm off Facebook.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have Instagram, too. But I guess Instagram probably makes money. But, yeah, I'm off Facebook. I'm off Twitter. I'm on Instagram because it can be used as an advertising tool. So there is a reason to be on Instagram. Also, I don't find it to be as disgusting as the others.
Not to make you jealous, Hardy, but I had a tree fall down last night, and it blocked our cul-de-sac. I got to watch the town DPW come by with a chainsaw and a bulldozer to move it out of the way. What a way to start a Friday, Brendan.
A great chance for you to linger also. A great
in the rain, too.
For you to linger in the rain and just watch them work.
The chainsaw work with a tree that's already fallen, fine. That's not going to get my juices flowing.
Oh, the tree has to be planted. You need to kill a live one.
It's the bulldozer.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with killing a tree, Jonathan. It's just, part of the work is seeing stuff fall to the ground. Yes, and it's already fallen. But the fact they had it's not like a big earth mover out there to move that tree. Yep. Yeah, I would watch.
Where do you put the tree though? Once the
Who cares?
No, but what is the point of the bulldozer? Where is it putting the tree?
Probably just pushing it off to the side of the road for now.
And then eventually will be put in a truck and hauled off?
I would think cut up first and then hauled off. I don't doubt, Fred, there's so many. You could bring a chipper out there and just chip it, and if there are woods nearby, you can just throw them chips right into the woods.
Let's see AI do that.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Trades, once again. Send your kid to chainsaw school.
We're going to start doing agricultural. Get back to the earth, baby. Start planting your own food. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jonathan, you seem ready to go.
Anthony and Warwick, this goes back to buying cards.
I'm glad you brought this. Was going to be my next one. Good.
The caller was right.
The card thing for Fred.
Yes.
He unboxed a card yesterday, you believe?
I got a card that is, if it follows previous sales, recent sales, is worth in the $10,000 to $20,000 range. Somewhere in there.
So if you were to recoup all the costs that you spent on cards over the years, call that $10,000, and you had $5,000 left over, I was trying to come up with something, fun for you to do with that $5,000, or steer you down that path. Mm-hmm. And you said, well, you're probably just buying more cards. And what did Anthony say, John?
Anthony said the caller was right. Keep buying cards. Most people who gamble quit just before they win big, so keep on spending.
Now, let's break that last sentence down. Most people who gamble quit just before they win big.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people you find in Gamblers Anonymous.
So when you win big.
How do you know?
You don't.
There's no
way to.
They quit just before the big win.
I know.
Really?
That's a guy who spends a lot of money right there.
Or a guy who's being facetious. But yes,
Yeah.
either one does have its place. Let's go to the phones. Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
Hello.
So I was just listening to the AI stuff you guys were talking about, and it just makes me think like the future generations are going to be just infatuated with AI, and they're actually not going to reproduce, so we're going to have like no children in the future. But also, I was thinking about what if Sarge ChatGPT was talking to that lady? All right, you guys, take it easy. Have a good weekend.
All right. Well, that is a setup. I am ready if you are, Hardy. You tell me when you're ready. This always goes off without a hitch.
GPT is booting up. Welcome. You've got Sarge.
All right, here we go.
Sup, Fred. Sup, Hardy. Sup, Hardy. Sup, so.
I always mistime the ending of
fine.
that. All right, so here's the deal. I have the AI, what I assume to be an AI, far be it from me.
Right.
AI foot fetish lady, and I have that ready to go. Let's see if we can make something of this. Hardy is his chat, his Sarge up.
Welcome. You've got Sarge.
All right, here we go.
I can't help but think back to the first time we realized our mutual attraction.
Absolutely.
We were both at a bar for our friend's birthday.
Correctamundo.
My phone was dead and I needed to call a cab home. You lent me yours, and I saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
Like Roman Reigns once said, I am this show. I run this show.
All right.
Acknowledge me.
All right, there you go. That let him know. That let her
wasn't
know.
bad.
No, it could have been worse. There's
Did
no
Sarge
question.
GPT answer all your questions?
I didn't ask any, but cool. You did a good job,
Would you like to
Sarge.
take a brief 30-minute survey about your Sarge GPT experience?
No. Sarge, we're on the radio, for God's sake.
Sarge GPT signing off.
Thank you, Sarge. Thank you, Sarge. That's very good. Thank you for the material of which to work.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. All right. 5,000.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. $5,000. Buy something for your place like a massage chair. This is from Mark. Or a piece of art that you thought you would buy. I would get cocaine in a massage person. Tee it high and let it fly this weekend. Thanks for keeping me up this week. That's from Chopper. So there you go, from Chopper. Thank you, Chopper. All right, and I will give you one Blind Scott one from 1:50 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You should have your agent try to get you the Dan Patrick Show job. You could move to Connecticut. You'd like it better, and you can get more for your money, and the schools are better. The colleges are right there. So there you go. That is from him. That is from Blind Scott. Apparently, Dan Patrick retired, Blind Scott said.
He's on his way to. He's already announced he's going to retire.
Okay. And why would I want the Dan Patrick job?
You get to sit in a cool next to a cool golf simulator with the wall of motivation.
I have the sign I want from the Dan Patrick studio, and I actually have it. It's the popsicle sign. The thing that fascinated me about the Dan Patrick Show was that they had this. It was Sports Illustrated was the originator of the show. So we had this big studio with like a golf simulator, like John said, and like a pinball machine. It was corny, like a man thing. And a bunch of swimsuit calendars. I get it, it's Sports Illustrated. But it was super corny. But there was like beer and girl stuff up, right? And sports stuff. And then there was just a sign that said popsicles, which always fascinated me because I'm like, why popsicles? Like, do you guys, hey, bros, you want to come over? Hey, grape or cherry? Like, let's just cool off with a nice phallic symbol in our mouths. Hello. But, and so I made fun of it. Well, they switched studios, and our engineer, Dennis, has a friend that was an engineer for the Dan Patrick Show because they're in a union or something. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, he gifts to me one day the popsicle sign from the Dan Patrick Show.
I stare at it every day. There it is.
I didn't know that's where that came from.
This is from the Dan Patrick Show. It is what I used to make fun of all the time, and now it is in my possession.
I had no idea.
That's why I have a popsicle sign.
How much is that worth?
Oh, yeah.
Not $15,000.
Oh,
it's worth its weight in memory. Yeah, I should probably sell it now. Original popsicle sign from Dan Patrick Show set.
Yes.
What do you put that up at?
5 cents.
I don't want the government involved, though, because eBay's got my social number. I don't need this taxed if I'm putting up something like that. By the way, I got to pay taxes on the card.
Oh.
So that's all on the level. So I'm saying this, it's all out there. I got the card by innocent means, and am paying taxes on the sale. So, yeesh, stay off my tail, 5-0. All right, here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Major League Baseball trade deadline came and went last night, and the Red Sox made
in your
Seldom right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy as we finish things up on a Freaky Friday. Hello, everybody. One of the guys that works for Bob's show was saying that he's going to a 12:30 p.m. screening of the Naked Gun movie.
Oh,
with Leslie Nielsen.
Wow.
Which I was just more impressed that they show movies at 12:30 in the afternoon.
Liam Neeson?
Yeah, Liam Neeson is the character. I'm sure it's funny. He said Seth MacFarlane had something to do with it, so I'm sure I like Seth MacFarlane. So I'd probably see it because I go to the movies with my daughter.
Yeah.
But we were seeing the animated film about the robbers. She's big into that. What is that film? The Bad Guys 2. That's what I'm seeing on Saturday. I purchased those tickets earlier this week. Don't worry about it.
Of course.
I mean, 6:30 on a Saturday night at the Chestnut Hill. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
You
want
gotta
to
get those ahead of
Yeah, you
time.
want to sit in one of the first three rows like a jabroni, or do you want to sit like a rock star in the back? It's up to you. You tell me.
You don't
what
want to
you
sit
want to do.
all the way in the back, though, do you?
It's an 80-seat theater. I mean, you're talking the back is right up front. That's where
No,
John
it's-
likes the
it's in
back.
the back.
John likes the back
The
right
back right up front.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Mm-hmm. That's a come to showcase. The back is right up front.
Clap away.
I want to see that in IMAX.
I'm glad you brought up Liam Neeson and Naked Gun because apparently he is in a relationship with Pamela Anderson. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, ages, care to guess?
I'm guessing that Liam Neeson is 68 years old.
Older.
And that Pamela Anderson, I bet I can get it on the nose.
All right, let's guess. I think I can get it too.
I think Pamela Anderson is I think she is 57 years old.
Oh, I'll say 58.
John Wallach.
I almost
58
said
years
58.
old.
But in fairness, you just did go 1 year older than my original projection.
Did I get it right?
You did.
All right.
But I mean,
Liam Neeson has got to be in his 70s.
I'm thinking 70.
73. They are currently enjoying each other's company. The source tells People magazine. It's a budding romance in the early stages. It's sincere, and it's clear they're smitten with each other.
She doesn't wear makeup anymore. She does in the movie, but she was just on the Ripa show.
Rather insistent about that no makeup thing.
Yeah, it's like a whole gimmick now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Chief Jay Strongbow. It's a gimmick.
So I don't want to fall into the trap of going another day without mentioning Ozzy Osbourne and incurring the wrath of Eddie Trunk.
The lamestream media gets over that in 6 hours.
6 hours. No, we're still talking about it. And so are fans of Ozzy and Chipotle. Many fans are petitioning him to be remembered. They want Chipotle to name a signature burrito after him. They want it to be called the Ozzy.
The Sharon's Retirement Fund.
They've gone to change.org to petition for the signature burrito. So far, 6,000 signatures in just a matter of days.
And Chipotle started this as a mass marketing campaign.
Did you know that Ozzy was a Chipotle fan?
I did. Of course. I'm very well aware of that from that show 25 years ago when Chipotle wasn't a thing.
Ozzy was infamously a huge fan of Chipotle burritos and could often be seen eating them while filming his family's reality television
Ronnie
show.
James Dio liked Moe's. I can give you that angle on it.
All right.
So that really limited where he could live because there's not nearly as many as many Moe's as there are Chipotle.
For some reason, that didn't have the staying power. I think they were too late to the bowl concept.
They're opening another Chipotle in Canton, and there's one over there in Westwood at the university thing. Like it's 4 miles away. Like now another Chipotle.
Yeah,
those things are going to be like Starbucks.
Yeah,
they're going to be everywhere.
Or it could be like the one on Needham Street. Just insists on just not cleaning.
But
like, how do you empty a trash can?
No,
it's overflowing, gentlemen. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No. Lunch rush is still going. There's no point.
Yeah, no, there's no one in here, and the garbage can's overflowing.
No,
I think if I was the franchisee and walked in there, I'd fire everyone.
It's about the start of the early dinner rush. There's no point in emptying it now. Ozzy's love for Chipotle was so well known, he became the first ever recipient of the now infamous Chipotle celebrity card.
The black card, which is Danny Ainge had it. Danny Ainge used to go to Chipotle every day. Which, by the way, John and I were talking about this as we finished things up today. You know what that kept me in rapt attention for 2 hours last night? And I never watch TV anymore, not because of any philosophical or time reason. It's just like I'm looking at something else. The 30 for 30 on the fall of Bobby Knight was on last night. And for 2 hours, from 9 until 11, I stayed up till 11.
How was it?
It's fantastic. It's old. It's not like a new one, but I'd never seen it before. Bobby Knight, real piece of crap.
Yeah. Really well done.
Like, he went into insanity. Like, he kind of went insane.
Remember all the sympathy for him when he got fired, too? You watch this and you have no sympathy for him whatsoever.
Well, it's the way you treated the media. He's insane.
Well, he was, but on top of that, he was crazy, and it's possible to be crazy and be a dick, and he was both.
Yeah. And the amount of control he had over that university, it will never happen again. No. In the age of the NIL and everything else, there's too much power to go around. But, I mean, that president of that university, holy moly. Did he let him do whatever he wanted, hit him in the face with it, whatever he wanted. Yeah. He was letting him do it.
Seriously. Knight, threw him out of practice. The president of the university.
I mean, just as a human being, I would at one point go, stop, enough. Like, I don't want this job. I got good another job.
I hired you.
Go get a D2 job.
Enough.
Like, what do I need with the president of Indiana University get treated like this? All right. You're more important, in title than the basketball coach. So everyone hates you. Go to another university.